Hello, everyone, and welcome to the DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast. I'm Bill,
And I'm DK.
and this is our official road to WrestleMania. It starts today as we got a pretty nice week ahead of us. Friday, the big watch along, Sting and Ric Flair Clash of the Champions 1.
Yeah,
But
our first live show. I'm very excited for
yeah,
this one.
I'm looking forward to that. And today, we are going to review WrestleMania VI, a
Yeah,
show near and dear to both of our hearts.
the first WrestleMania north of the border.
Mm-hmm. So we will get into all of that. But we do have a few things that we want to talk about before we get to it. Um, why don't we talk about the Elimination Chamber? Um, I
Sure.
I did not get up early in the morning to see the show, but I did watch the show. Um, I thought it was actually a decent show for it being pretty much predictable.
Yeah, that's the thing that everyone's mad about, and it makes me laugh so hard. It's like Becky shouldn't have won because we all thought she'd win. I was like, well, okay. Um, the winner of this match went on to probably be the main event for women.
Right.
So if you really think Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley is a better match than Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, then I can understand why you would maybe not want that. But the match, now I know there's like this new thing on social media right now that kind of we want Liv, like similar
Oh
to the we want
no.
Cody. But I really don't like honestly, I'm not sold on her anymore. I really am. Um and I think Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley is the match that should be. I think it should main event night one. Now it probably won't, but that like for for what I've seen on social media is it seems like most people were disappointed with Becky winning that match. Like she didn't have to win this match. I'm like, well, she kind of did because she's going to be in the main event for women at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, I like Liv. I'm not one of those that's like she should be in this match at WrestleMania because one, she's coming back from an injury. I think a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
And two, I don't think she's in the position yet for that big of a match. Like they tried it a couple years
No.
ago at SummerSlam with Ronda, and it didn't end up being that good. I mean, I do see Liv getting a shot down the road in the future, but like if it was WrestleMania 42 or 43, okay, yeah, I'd be like, I could support that. But
Yeah, because at WrestleMania 42, Becky Lynch isn't going to be around anymore.
probably not. Yeah,
I don't think.
right. So it's
She's still like that top, like one of those top people
mhm,
right now in the business in WWE. So
yeah.
like, and I think somebody somebody on Twitter said Liv Morgan's um like I forget how they put it, but they compared her to Alexa Bliss, and I thought that comparison was like really bang on.
Yeah, it is.
Um, like Alexa Bliss, she's not the greatest in ring performer, but she
Mhm.
always like kind of like got me interested in her matches.
Exactly.
If that makes sense. And like honestly,
Perfect.
with Liv, I don't care. Like I care much more about Rhea Ripley and a Becky Lynch match
Mhm.
because like I don't think you could not have Liv Morgan beat Rhea Ripley. You couldn't
No. Not
because
not at WrestleMania.
that just takes away everything Rhea has built in the last 15 months or 16 months or whatever it's been. Um, so and like I try to not give my opinions too much on this podcast about WrestleMania because one of our best shows of the year is our WrestleMania preview.
Oh
So I don't
yeah,
want to
that's
give away like
right.
most of the stuff that I'm going to say, but um, uh, honestly, like I think Rhea's been one of the MVPs this year.
Plus, if you think about Becky's last year, it's a great story that does not get talked about because at the last WrestleMania, she's in a 6-woman tag with Trish and Lita. And then she gets into a feud with Trish. And then she goes back to NXT to win their women's title. And then after that, she's just quietly in the mix, you know?
Yeah.
And then the Royal Rumble comes and she's one of the favorites to win. And she's like, I think like the last 6 or 7 before she gets eliminated. And the chamber was, I will say this, I loved the ending to the women's chamber match. I thought that was executed perfectly. And
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton, another breakout performance for her in that match. Hell of a
I'm
job.
glad you brought I'm glad you brought her up because this is the thing that annoyed me. Well, there's many things that annoyed me, but this is the first one. People wanted her to win. I'm like, okay, so Tiffany Stratton's gonna go main event WrestleMania now. This is what you're telling me. Like wrestling fans, honestly, you make it interesting for sure. Because like I'm glad that she had a great showing there, but there is no way she was winning that match to
No,
go and face Rhea Ripley in a main event. And I'm sorry, but right now for me, Rhea Ripley's title is the title in the women's division. It is. That like you kind like I'm not on camera right now. I'm looking at you right now. You look like you're about to debate me on this. But
I mean,
for me, for what Rhea has done this year, I think she is
oh,
surpassed.
okay. If you're talking the last year, then yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
you.
Oh yeah. I'm not talking about the title itself. I'm
Right,
talking about who has the title
right.
and the title picture and the story. Like the Bailey story is a good one too,
Mm-hmm.
but Rhea is just killing it. And I'm very excited for the future and to see what they do here
Yeah.
with Becky. I think that she could be. Now, I'm not saying she's going to be on her way out of wrestling, but I
Mm-hmm.
do see her kind of taking a little bit of a step back here.
Right.
Like she has a young daughter. Like I don't see her
And who
being a
knows? And
every
who
week type
knows?
performer.
And who knows if she and Seth want another kid? It's possible.
Yeah, you never know.
So, um, well, why don't we go through or go to our Facebook group and see what they thought of the show as a whole? Um, Pretty positive. Pretty much it's a B and a C grade. That's what got the most votes. Um,
Yeah,
I'd give it a low B. It's still a good show though.
yeah. Um, I'd probably go C. It was like people said, it was predictable show.
Mm-hmm.
So, but sometimes a predictable show
Can be a good
isn't
show.
a bad isn't a bad
Exactly.
thing, especially when it's the lead up. Like people are like shitting on the show, right? So we last year we did like I think we did we do 2 episodes on February in your house
Yeah, I
shows
think we did.
reviews and like we're trying to find one that wasn't a complete dumpster fire and we did find one, the Final Four in
Mm-hmm.
1997, which
Yeah,
was definitely in my opinion the best February show in those eras that we were doing.
yeah,
But yeah, so like this is a transitional show. This is
yeah.
a okay, it's Elimination Chamber. It's in Australia. It was kind of cool being in a stadium. but this is in your house like they used to do.
Basically.
This is a show to build to the next show. It's like fully loaded to SummerSlam was.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's like the random October in your house to Survivor
Fire
Series.
series. Yep.
So obviously, if you went through and decided what you wanted for WrestleMania, and you were cheering for certain people and they didn't happen to win, then that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Now, as far as favorite match, this is actually a close vote here, but the match that got the most votes, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne versus Judgment Day.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. Like I didn't watch the show live, and I didn't watch the entire show,
Right.
but um, from what I did see, that was a fun match.
I mean, it was a good match. I just thought the last couple minutes kind of dragged, but it's not a terrible complaint. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's our look at the Elimination Chamber.
yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
pretty much. If you were expecting more, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. So the other day, I posted a question on our Facebook group for this particular episode. And I think the people might have been a little bit confused with the question. So I'm going to read the question and then I'm going to.
I and I like to say I never answer
Right.
your polls because I want to give my answer on the show.
Joe. Oh, yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
reason for that. That's the reason for that.
All right. So the question that I put out, which show, it could be any wrestling show, do you believe you've watched more times than any other show?
Yeah.
So Daniel Carr said probably No Mercy 99. He feels that it's an underrated pay-per-view. It has the first ladder match with the Hardys and Edge and Christian. It may also be because I was there. I think that, but it had many good matches.
Sure.
So, and then we had a couple others. Eric Malloy picked SummerSlam or the Rumble. He didn't give a specific one, which was kind of what I was going for. Like Daniel hit it right on
Yeah.
the. Ted replied somewhere between '06 and '08 with SummerSlam, or I think he meant like the big four in general. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think with him, he was just kind of like, there's probably like a bunch that he's seen
yeah.
from when I read that one. Like, I don't know how to pick this. Um, so so for me, you know what? Like, I don't know why I've watched this one so many freaking times. Okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the greatest. Um, it's one of my favorite events, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not the greatest year. And I can't understand why I've seen this so many times, but I believe the answer to your question for me is the 1996 Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Now, WrestleMania 12 was one of my favorite WrestleManias, and it's like a lot of people don't like it as much as me, like because there was only so many matches.
Mm-hmm.
And all the build up to that and Sean coming back winning the Rumble. I always thought that was a cool story. And just kind of like I don't know, like the last real like Scott Hall and Kevin Nash being
Yeah.
there before they moved over. I know they were there till like April, but for some reason, like if I'm just scrolling on the network there and I see it, I'll just throw it on. It's a fun show for me. So
And
I think that like besides like old school classic WrestleManias,
mm-hmm.
that one might be the top. And this is a nice segue. Number two could be the show we are about to review today.
and we did review WrestleMania 12 last year.
We did,
And
and that was my choice because
that was your choice.
great show, great show.
And I ended up enjoying the show because it had been a long time since I had seen it. So,
Yeah,
um,
and that's what's great about doing the show with you
mhm,
is sure we could rewatch like the classics, but it's nice to go back in like the mid '90s and watch
exactly.
some stuff like that.
Like there are some shows I'm certain, like I know the three of you, me, and Eric, we talked recently.
Yeah,
The show that he picked, which we will do in the future, we're not going to reveal what it is,
yeah.
but the show that he picked, I have never seen that show. So I'm looking forward to that one because I'd heard good things about that.
I can't remember off the top of my head which one he picked.
No, well,
That's I'm
I'll
not
tell
sure if I've
you,
seen it either.
I'll tell you off air when we're done.
All right, cool.
But for me, to answer my own question, it's actually the show we're about to review. Like, I think I've seen this show, and I'm not even exaggerating, at least a dozen times, maybe more.
Oh, I've seen it way more than a dozen. it's
Like
it's
this,
ridiculous.
this is the show that got me to be a wrestling fan. I was
Nice.
4.5, almost 5. I think my brother got the tape from one of his friends, and we ended up keeping the tape. And I just watched that show over and over and over. Again, I've seen it so many times I've lost track of the count. But
Sure.
and when you said, "Oh, we're gonna watch WrestleMania 6," my mind, like, it was kind of doing a celebration
Like,
because,
oh yeah.
and you
Yeah,
know
well,
what?
my idea was because we reviewed Royal Rumble '90, and it's always fun to like kind of do things in a little bit of an order.
Right. And I think what's fun about this show is kind of going back to what you said with WrestleMania 12. It's not the greatest show of all time, but it has so much meaning for me, you know, for many reasons that I just love this show. I just love this show. Spoiler alert of how we're rating this show. So, but
Yep.
you know, but yeah, WrestleMania 6 is the show I've probably seen more times than any other show. So,
It's probably like the number one WrestleMania that I've seen. Like
mhm.
I've seen matches. Like I think the match I've watched the most in my life is probably Hogan and Andre. I think I've probably watched that like 25 to 30 times from start to finish, just because it's such an iconic match.
It
Same with
is.
Savage, and
And Steamboat.
yeah, when I remember when you told me that your one friend had never seen that match, and I like walked off the
Yep.
show, it was just like, you know what, I
He
gotta
has since
I
seen
gotta
it.
walk I gotta walk away for a second here, gather my thoughts.
He has since seen the show and he loves the match. So,
Well, that's good.
all right. So, let's do a little bit of a background of what we get going into WrestleMania 6. So, as mentioned in the Royal Rumble review that we did, it was announced WrestleMania 6, August 1st, or not August 1st, April 1st, Skydome in Toronto.
You said the wrong date. Do you feel embarrassed?
Not really.
Okay, good.
I've been up since 6:30. So, um,
Okay.
so, and I posted this in our Facebook group, and if no one has ever seen this, I recommend people check it out. The city of Los Angeles actually made a video of trying to get WrestleMania 6 at the Los Angeles Coliseum.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they didn't get that, but
Nope.
it's going to come back to benefit them in a little while. We'll talk about that a little later.
Hmm.
As DK mentioned, this is the first WrestleMania in Canada. It is at the somewhat still new at the time Skydome in Toronto. Um,
Hmm.
it opened on my birthday, 1989. How about that? There you
Yeah,
go.
so that'd be definitely like only 1 year old then. That's
I,
probably a reason why Toronto got WrestleMania with
I
the new
was
stadium and everything.
I was 4 years old the day this opened, so happy birthday to me.
Nice.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you want to hear a fun fact on that
Yeah,
arena?
yeah, go right ahead.
Um, my father was a concrete mixer driver
Oh,
in the city of Toronto. Like we
okay.
lived in Toronto. We lived in Toronto from I think it was 1984 to
Mhm.
1988.
All right.
So, and he always talks about this. He was the first like load of concrete delivered to the like construction site of what would become
The
the
Sky Dome.
Skydome. So so he always like he's, that's the place I built. Like he always talks
Mhm.
about that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of a fun little
Oh, that's
tidbit.
pretty cool. That's
We
fun to know.
we ended up moving to Western Canada in
Right.
the summer of I believe it was '89. So we weren't really there when it did
For the
open,
for the
but
big celebration.
he was part of the construction of that. So
Right.
if he's listening, shout out to Dad on
Yeah,
that one.
shout out to DK's dad. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I always like to throw in a little tidbits, you
yeah.
know, if I have anything.
So one of the things about this WrestleMania that makes it unique, besides the fact that it's in Canada, is the fact that if you lived in the Toronto area and you didn't have a ticket for the show, you could not see this on pay-per-view in Canada. You had to go out of the country to watch this show.
Yeah, it was like a blackout, so similar to like back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they do it anymore, but like if the game like I live in Calgary, so if the Flames game isn't sold out like back in the '90s,
Right.
then it wouldn't be on TV. That's how it worked. It was
Yeah,
like trying to get people to go.
pretty much.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's how that went down.
so something that's kind of interesting that I didn't know, and I actually found this out on the history of WWE.com. The last show or the last day of shows the WWF did before WrestleMania 6 was on March the 25th. So that's 1 week exactly before WrestleMania. How many, and these are house shows, by the way. How many house shows do you think they ran that day?
And say the date again, sir.
March 25th
March 25th in 1990.
in
How many
1990.
how Well, I know they used to run two towns a lot of the times, like with Warrior and Hogan. So I
Mhm.
guess I'll say two.
Triple that.
Really? Was
Six house shows.
was the freaking Honky Tonk Man main eventing somewhere? That's beautiful. Who goes to the Coco Beware main event in
They
Wichita?
had they had
Six house
three
shows? They even have enough wrestlers to have 6 house shows. Come
they
on, man.
had
It's
three
amazing.
matinees that day.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do for everyone is I'm going to tell you the town and what the main event was for each of those towns. So Philadelphia, the Spectrum, had a matinee show. Main event for that show, Hulk Hogan and the Big Boss Man defeated the Powers of Pain
Nice.
because we needed that hot Hulk Hogan Powers of Pain match.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know. Los Angeles at the Sports Arena was another matinee. That show was headlined by the Ultimate Warrior defeating Mr. Perfect.
This was
Uh,
like a week before WrestleMania.
yeah.
Okay.
Dayton, Ohio had a matinee show. They were headlined by Rick Rude versus Jim Duggan in a cage match. Again, I'm not sure where that came from, but okay. San Diego at the Sports Arena. Main event there. Ultimate Warrior defeated Mr. Perfect. Columbus, Ohio was Rick Rude and Duggan in the cage. And Hershey, Pennsylvania, Hulk Hogan and the Big Boss Man defeating the Powers of Pain. So
Cool.
those were the 6 shows that happened the Sunday before WrestleMania.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they like have okay. So what happens if Hulk Hogan tears his ACL?
Oh, you're fucked.
That's like the first time I've ever heard you say the F word on this show.
Well, it's
It's
true.
amazing. That's like when I heard my son swear. Like he never swears. It's like oh, I'm not even mad. I can't believe you just said that. That's amazing.
Yeah. I get
Um, yeah, you know what? Like it's yeah, like you said, you're fucked. But like, do you think Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes are gonna be having like these house show
Oh
matches before
no.
this
Oh
WrestleMania?
no.
Like,
Oh,
like,
no.
like, like I know everyone's gonna be like, oh well, Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns doesn't wrestle that much anyways. So,
Exactly.
but
No, that would never
anyways,
happen today.
yeah,
Now, a fun thing we like to do is see if there were any shows, any wrestling shows, the day of a pay per view. So,
yeah,
you know, WrestleMania, it's become a big event. Nobody runs against WrestleMania. Not normally anymore.
yeah,
Well, WCW had 2 shows on the same day as WrestleMania 6.
really,
They had a matinee show in Asheville, North Carolina, which was headlined by a 6-man tag match, Lex Luger and the Steiner brothers against Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Ole Anderson. And they had a night show, believe it or not, in Charlotte at the Coliseum, which was headlined by Luger versus Flair.
okay,
All right. So one last thing to mention, and then we'll get to the show. Um, Pretty much it's common knowledge. Edge and Christian were at the show.
yeah,
Um, but these 3 doing research, I did not know were also at WrestleMania 6. Lance Storm, Renee Paquette, and actor Stephen Amell, Green Arrow himself,
really,
were at WrestleMania 6.
cool.
All right. And the final thing, and then we're gonna get to it. There was a dark match for those in the Sky Dome. I don't know if video exists of it. Paul Roma defeated the Brooklyn Brawler.
Just burying the brawler.
I know, right?
At least it wasn't on TV, so you wouldn't be embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, we've gotten everything out the way. This is what you've all waited for. Here we go. Our review of WrestleMania 6, the Ultimate Challenge. So
Hey,
we
before we even start,
mhm,
you knew this show. Now, okay, so before people get upset with me,
yeah.
I'm not talking about what he's accused of or what he, you know, Vince
Mhm.
McMahon's a shit person.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
we
absolutely.
we all know that.
Yeah.
But his opening segment
Oh,
here,
oh.
and like when I rewatched it for like the thousandth time, I'm sitting there with my notepad out like I always do. I'm watching it with my daughter, and I just start getting goosebumps when Vince just
Mhm.
gets going here. There are visions in the
Upon the
air.
examination,
It's the ultimate challenge. That's WrestleMania. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
on the examination of the galaxies of space, strange images appear.
Right?
Oh. It's so
Oh my
cool.
God.
It
So
really
amazing.
is. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Vince was like coked out of his mind, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, probably, but that's okay.
So after we get the intro, it is Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura on commentary, and this sadly will be the last time the two of them are together because Jesse
Hmm.
leaves at the end of the summer. So Jesse
Yeah.
says he's been to the Super Bowl, he's been to the World Series, he's been to the Rolling Stones, but one event surpasses them all, and it's WrestleMania. And he's right.
Yep.
So we begin with a little festivity as Robert Goulet sings "Oh Canada."
Right.
And
Robert
DK,
Goulet.
I
Yeah.
am not afraid to admit this. This is how I learned the words to the Canadian national anthem.
From Robert Goulet.
Yes,
Oh man,
it
that's great.
is, and I'm saying this as an American. This is the best version of "Oh Canada" I will ever hear in my lifetime.
Oh man,
It's
that's
it's wonderful. It really is. So
well.
after
Yeah, I might have to send you a couple links to some good old Canadas. Um, Now, have you ever heard the old Canada at the Grey Cup in Las Vegas?
no.
Okay, so in the CFL, there for a while there was a Las Vegas team called the Las
Mm-hmm.
Vegas Posse. They
Mm-hmm.
had the Grey Cup in Las Vegas. So they hired this guy who must have worked in some lounge in Vegas, and he sang "Old Canada" to the tune of "Happy Birthday." It's one of the greatest things ever. All you got to do is go on YouTube and type in "Old Canada, Happy Birthday, Grey Cup," and this guy comes up, and he yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it. So
Oh,
when we're done
damn.
recording, I know it's late for you, so maybe
No,
tomorrow
I'll probably
throw
look
it
it up
up,
tomorrow.
throw it up. But
All
I'm
right.
telling you, man, that's good stuff right there.
So so after
Anyways,
Goulet
back to WrestleMania,
so after Goulet's epic performance, Coco Beware's music hits as we get to our
right?
opening contest, Coco Beware against the model Rick Martel.
And you know what? When Coco came out, I was like, this is gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna
And
be good.
okay, one of the things I really like about this show,
Oh, Frankie.
one of the things I really like about the show is the commentary. Like already into the show, it's great because Jesse
Yeah.
talks about the performance and he's like, Robert Goulet, he kind of reminds me of Axl Rose. And Gorilla's like, Axl Rose, I don't think I know an Axl Rose. Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses. Oh, that Axl.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, like is this a scripted commentary or is like Gorilla Monsoon just doesn't know what's going on?
I don't think Gorilla knows.
Okay.
Oh,
I thought that
Axl
was
Rose.
pretty
Does
funny.
he sing with Frank Sinatra?
Yeah. I just oh
I,
man,
I can
good stuff.
imagine I can imagine Gorilla listening more to Sinatra than Guns N' Roses. I really could.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But not knowing who Axl Rose is, and then I started thinking, I'm like, well, it is 1990, so
It is 90, yeah.
it's it's a little bit better to
Yeah.
not know.
Yeah. So Martel gets a sneak attack as the bell rings. This is going to be a theme, folks.
Hmm.
And you know what? It's a good little opening match.
I thought so.
It's a good back and forth match. It's not long. Martel tries to get the Boston Crab on, but Coco won't let him. And then the end of the match, Coco tries for, a crossbody block which Martel ducks out of the way. Martel gets the Boston Crab in on his own, and Martel wins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was a pretty good match. Like you
Yeah.
said, a nice opener. There's a lot of matches on this card, so yeah, it doesn't have to be a 20-minute thing to get going. Like if you go in later years at WrestleMania, usually that opening match was like a
Mhm.
20 20 to 25 minute, really good
Yeah.
back and forth match. That's not what we got here, but I was pretty happy with it. And heel gets the win.
Yeah, fun opening match. I
Did you
gave
like
this
Martel as a heel? He came out with
I do.
arrogance.
I
I
do.
okay, yeah, I thought he was better as a heel.
Yeah. I
Like when
mean,
he was in the tag team with Tito Santana, it just didn't work for me.
like if you find some of his other stuff as a face, he's a good face, but as a heel, he just comes off so natural. It's
Yeah,
amazing. Um, I gave this a C minus.
yeah, I have the same grade
All right.
because it was yeah, it was just one of those like it did what it needed to do. It wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
this spectacular match that we're ever going to talk about. Like, oh man, you got to go watch
Right.
this match. But I liked it
Yeah.
basically.
Um, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have you guess. What did Dave Meltzer rate this match?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how stupid Dave Meltzer was in the '90s.
Well, this is
Probably about as
early. This
probably
is
about
early.
as stupid as he is now.
This is early
I
19.
don't know. Let's go with half a star.
2 stars.
2 stars.
Yeah.
Wow, Big
Little
Dave.
little
Did
positivity there.
did he think Toronto was in Tokyo?
Well,
It
I
has
mean, the dome kind of looks
it
like
has dome. He probably just read the venue, went dome, 5 stars. Dave Straw, Dave here, 5 stars.
Dave smashed. All right.
Dave
So
like wrestling in Tokyo.
so we go to the back.
I don't even know what I'm doing
I
anymore.
don't even know either. So we go to the back, and Mean Gene introduces our team as the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, the Colostomy Connection. And then
Oh
Bobby's
my
like,
god,
"What did you say?" I
what
said, "The
did you
Colossal
say?
Connection." What do you think I said? Never mind. So
Yeah,
he cuts a promo for the champs and basically tells Demolition that they're gonna eliminate them. And
yeah,
then Gene has the great final line: "The Colossal Connection. They're anything but regular guys." Meanwhile, as
man,
he's
I love this show. So good.
Meanwhile, as he's pondering what he just said, Sean Mooney in the back with Demolition and basically tells us what they're going to do to the Colossal Connection.
Oh,
So we go to the back to the ring, and Gorilla tells us that Demolition has a chance to make history, DK. They have a chance to become 3-time holders of the titles, or, as he says, three-peat.
yeah.
A lot of three-peat.
And so at this point, nobody had ever done that,
Um,
which seems crazy.
Not off the top of my head, I could think of.
And like one thing, like when that promo went down, I wrote down. Now I remember in the mid '90s how it was such a huge deal when Bret Hart
Yeah.
was a two-time, he was two-time Intercontinental champ, two-time heavyweight champ, and
Hmm.
two-time tag team champ. And it was like now you have guys that are like five-time champ here,
Exactly.
nine-time champ here. It's like must have been such a bigger deal
Yeah.
back then to three-time tag team champ. Like doesn't seem like that big a deal right now, but
Exactly.
it was.
So, we get introduced with the champs, and then Demolition come out to a really nice ovation from the crowd. Like the fans are really behind them. And for the second match in a row, sneak attack from behind starts the match. Um,
I see a pattern.
this is Haku the match, pretty much.
Yep.
Haku is in the ring the entire time because at this point, Andre's body is breaking down and they are hiding,
Yeah. Well, this is 3 years after WrestleMania 3.
yeah,
like I think WrestleMania 3 was pretty much it for Andre.
Hmm.
Even like there's stories of all the stuff he had to do to get ready for that match.
Right.
And this is 3 years later. Um, and in 1990, he passed away in 93. So it's definitely near the end for Andre, unfortunately.
Yeah, nobody, I mean,
But
nobody knew at the time,
no, nobody knew at the time. And you know what? Unfortunately, when I watch wrestling like in the past and somebody has passed away, I
Mhm.
always look at like the date they passed away and I'm like, damn, he was only around for another year, another two
Right.
years. Like it's kind of morbid how my mind works, but that's kind of what happens,
It's true.
unfortunately.
But this is a really well told story match. Haku is in there the entire time. And
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever have seen the match where Andre and Haku win the belts from Demolition.
I don't believe I have.
It's basically the exact same match, except in that one, it was Axe getting his ass kicked. In this one, it's Haku, but Haku, manages to have a comeback. It's really a really good match, for a tag
Yeah,
team match where one person is very limited. And then we get to the end. So everybody's in the ring. Andre holds smash. Haku's going for the kick. He goes and he accidentally hits Andre. Andre gets tied up in the ropes. Demolition sees the moment. They get Haku, they get him in the demolition decapitator. One, two, three, new tag team champions, baby. They three-peated.
and that ovation they got,
Oh my gosh.
that was that was honestly one of the loudest pops
Of the night.
of the night. Um, can can we go back and talk about Andre here?
Yeah.
No, nobody could do that falling down, stuck in the ropes better than him.
Nobody.
And it
Nobody.
was like at this point, that was his trademark. Fell in the ropes, and he always got perfectly hooked up in them.
Oh,
It was like,
it's kind of
it's
funny
pretty good.
because I was in a Facebook group and I was mentioning earlier how Gene Simmons from Kiss trademarks a lot of weird things. Andre should have had this trademark. He could have had a lot of
Right?
money.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So as Demolition is celebrating walking down the aisle, Bobby Heenan is upset at Andre. And you
Yeah.
can hear him. At one point, he's like, I'm the fucking boss. I'm the fucking, and you never hear like that kind of language in
No,
1990.
no, it was like, whoa, damn.
And then Bobby Heenan makes the mistake of a lifetime. He slaps Andre the Giant across the face.
Yep.
Oh man. Andre grabs him, beats him up. Haku tries to help, but he gets beat up. Andre takes the cart, kicks Bobby and Haku off of it, rides off into the sunset to a tremendous ovation. And like I said, we didn't know at the time, but this is Andre's last match in the WWF, and he got a tremendous send off.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think he like returned at Mania 7 for a little
Mhm.
spot, but
Yeah,
yeah, his that last actual matchup. And like you said, it was he was not in the match really. It was
yeah.
kind of Haku. It was almost like a handicap match. So yeah, pretty cool send off for Andre though. I did like the part where they were trying to climb on the thing, and then
Yeah.
Andre's just like, no, this is my
You know,
ride.
ride with me. I ride
You
myself.
know, ride. You could actually
Um,
almost hear him saying that stuff. So
this is a fun, entertaining match with the crowd really into it. Demolition winning it, like the great moment. I gave
yes,
this a C.
yeah, this is one of those memory matches for me for
Mhm.
this show that I've seen so many times, but there's some forgettable. matches on this show.
Oh yeah, there
This
are.
this is like an iconic moment with Bobby Heenan and Andre essentially turning babyface in his
Hmm.
last match
Yeah.
at WrestleMania when he had turned heel to face Hulk Hogan 3 years prior.
Hmm.
So, um, like it might not have been the greatest match, but it's an iconic match for me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So not the actual wrestling, the what it kind of gave us is the reason I gave this one a C plus. I really liked Haku here. He was always a good in ring performer for me,
Yeah.
and Demolition, man, they were great. Loved their theme song is like one of my favorite theme songs of all time. Um, yeah, so love me some Demolition.
I I mean, I know, we have our thoughts on the WWE Hall of Fame, you and I do, in a negative light, but someday, someday it's gonna happen. They're going in. They've got to go in.
Now, now that Vince is gone, it could happen. Like because didn't I think it was Axe? Didn't he like have some lawsuit against them?
Hmm. Yeah, I think he
So
was part of the
I
concussion thing. So,
I think that's kind of what's been holding it up. So we'll see what happens this year.
yep, we'll see.
There has been some rumors. I could see them going in as the tag team. Um, but yeah, we're going to do an entire show on Hall of Fame this year, so
Yep. As soon
we'll
as they
move on to
tell
the next
us,
match.
as soon as they tell us who's freaking going in. But
Yeah,
um,
right, right.
what did Meltzer give this match? What do you think he gave it?
Well, see, I thought this was a pretty decent match, and um, on the last match, I kind of figured that he would rate it lower, so I'm gonna go ahead and say 2 stars on this one too.
2 stars.
Okay,
Very
seems to be a
good.
pattern so far for old
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah. All right. So we go to the back. Mean Gene is with Jimmy Hart and the Earthquake, and basically they talk about how an earthquake can pretty much tear anything down.
Hmm.
Uh, Pretty much nothing really to talk about with that promo, which leads us to our next match: Hercules versus Earthquake.
Yeah. Now, how long had Earthquake been around at this point?
Um, not even 6 months, I think, and he's in WrestleMania.
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit there.
Oh, I Oh, there we go. I think
There we go.
6 months, maybe not
Okay.
even 6 months.
Yeah, they were kind of pushing him here.
Hmm.
Um, I was not a huge fan of Earthquake. Like his matches were squash matches, but I see what they were trying to do with him.
Hmm.
So it was okay.
Yeah.
But
Now, I want to point out another sneak attack attempt to begin a match. 3 in a row.
and it's a pattern. It's a pattern.
Um, Earthquake has his lip busted open during the match. It had to be
Oh, that
from one of the
dirty Hercules.
punches. Yeah.
Yep,
So
one
the
of those punches got through.
yeah. So the end of the match, Hercules tries for the backbreaker. Big mistake. Earthquake hits an earthquake splash. 1, 2, 3. Earthquake wins, and then he hits an aftershock on Hercules, and Hercules manages to get up on his feet after the match.
Hmm.
Um, I understand the purpose of this match to get the new big guy over, which they did here. I gave this a D.
Yeah, it's kind of what they were, and I think that he goes on to a program with Hulk Hogan after this. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like what we're gonna feed you somebody and you're gonna dominate them.
Yeah,
And
pretty
so I'm
much.
I'm not gonna like shit all over the match
Oh
because
no,
it
no, no.
did it served its purpose.
Yeah,
I just didn't like it that much.
yeah.
But
So yeah, I gave it a D. So
yeah, so
what do you
yeah, I'm with you
okay?
on the D grade there.
What do you think Meltzer gave this match?
Well, if we didn't like it, I'm really thinking Meltzer didn't like it. I'll probably say half a star,
A whole star.
a whole star.
Hmm. Okay. Um, so now we go to the back with Rona Barrett. And I'm sure some of our lovely audience is wondering who? Well, Rona
Who is
Barrett
that?
is a gossip columnist or was a
Yeah,
gossip columnist.
yeah,
So in a way, what's a good way to describe it? She was kind of TMZ before there was a TMZ.
yeah, yeah. That's probably a good analogy there.
I guess would be the best way to put it.
Hmm.
So Rona Barrett is in the back with Miss Elizabeth. Oh, okay. So the question that Rona asks is, why haven't you been at ringside? Why haven't you been a manager lately? And
Hmm.
Elizabeth, in her nice southern twang, is like, well, I've taken a front office position with the World Wrestling Federation. And, I thought about my time as manager. And if I ever get the chance, I'm going to get a little bit more involved in the matches. All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. Now to Sean Mooney. And Sean Mooney,
That's hilarious.
and Sean Mooney's like, Brutus Beefcake, what are you doing?
Oh, man.
And Barber's saying he's looking at Mr. Perfect's perfect record one last time before he gets to the ring. And Barber references, I think. So
Mhm.
this leads us to our next match, Mr. Perfect versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And Jesse has this great uh, conversation with Gorilla where he's like, Gorilla, it's okay that you only have a ninth grade education. Graduating or getting to the ninth grade was a big deal in your time.
Right?
um, so before we get to the beginning of the match, we get the annual WrestleMania hello to Terry, Tyrell, and Jane, which I miss. Can they bring that back this year?
Right? That's a good one. I
Oh,
like
I
that.
would love to do that. Like if I had guest commentary for one WrestleMania match, I'd be like, before I begin, I just want to say hi to Terry, Tyrell, and Jane.
Right?
So, DK, what do you think happens at the beginning of the match?
I'm gonna I'm going out on a limb here. Was there a sneak attack?
Another snake attack,
Oh man. Now
4 in
all the
a
people that were
row.
shitting on the elimination chamber, some things are predictable.
And I never realized it until this show. That's how great this is.
Right?
So, Beefcake gets the advantage early on, and at one point it looks like he's going to win. And he's going to win when you get a camera shot of Mary Tyler Moore. Yes, the Mary Tyler Moore is sitting at
Yep.
ringside.
She was there.
Yeah, and it's not going to be the only time we see her too. Um, Perfect hits Beefcake with the genius's scroll. He gets the advantage for a little bit. And then the ending, Beefcake slingshots Perfect into the post. Beefcake covers 1, 2, 3. Beefcake wins. Hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't I like they were talking about the record
Mm-hmm.
and like when I first watched this years and years ago, that it surprised me with Beefcake winning this match.
Yeah.
It really did.
It's kind of like this is how his record ends by going to the post.
Right. Like how many how long had this record stood for?
Oh God, he was there the fall of '88, so we're talking like a year and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you know, yeah, and some things fall. Like could was he could he still be referred to as Mr. Perfect with a loss?
I know, right?
But
But you know what? He's gonna make up for it in about a month. So,
yeah, for
after the
sure.
match, the genius steals Beefcake's bag of cutting utensils, only
Right.
for the genius to get caught, and
Yeah.
then Beefcake with the sleeper on Genius, and he starts to cut his hair. Um,
Right. Oh man.
you know what? This isn't as bad of a match as I thought I remember it being. I gave this a D plus.
Um, okay, so like I have this rated higher because it was Mr. Perfect, man. He still put on a pretty great performance here.
Oh, he did.
I wasn't ever really a huge fan of Brutus the Barber
Hmm.
Beefcake in the ring.
Right.
Like like his gimmick was kind of cool, but I was never a huge fan of his, I'll say.
Okay.
So but I did enjoy this match. I gave this one a C minus.
Okay. What do you think
I guess
Meltzer?
I'm not too far away from you
No, you're not.
on that one.
What do
So
you think Meltzer gave this match?
let's just roll with the 3 stars. Seems to be what he's been doing.
2 3/4.
Oh, I meant to say 2 stars, but yeah,
Yeah,
damn.
2 3/4.
Okay, so is that like one of the highest rated matches
It
so far?
is. It
Yeah,
is
that's
the
kind of what I
highest
thought.
rated
So,
so far, and I'm just gonna spoil it. It's the highest rated match of the first half of WrestleMania 6.
well, there you go.
All right. And now to discuss the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Bad News Brown and Rowdy Roddy Pipe.
And you had to send me
Yep.
a special link from your friend
Mm-hmm.
so I could watch this because they took this match off the network because he's
They
half
took
blackface.
everything off.
He ain't just half blackface. He's half black arm. He's half black body. He's half black leg.
Yeah. All right. So the build up to the match is actually respectable. We talked
Yeah,
about it
it
with
kind
the
of
Rumble.
yeah. I think it started at the Rumble, didn't it?
Yeah. Piper eliminated Brown. Brown eliminated Piper. They fight to the back.
Right.
Then they fight on the interview podium a few weeks later. And basically, that is what leads us to the match. It's
Hmm.
about the only innocent thing about this match because we go to the back with Mean Gene and Roddy Piper, and we see half of Roddy's body. Okay, it's white, it's his natural, and he's like, yeah, they call me the Hot Rod, but they also call me the Hot Scott. And this is where you see half blackface.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Um, so I don't really know the exact reason why he did this. I really don't. And maybe I
Yeah,
don't want to know.
I have one. I have one major regret, and
What's your
so
regret?
people that listen to the show on a regular basis know that I used to work with Bad News Brown.
Mm-hmm.
We worked security after his wrestling career was over. I never thought to ask him about this storyline, and I kind of wish I did because I'd like to know how he felt about it in 1990. I know things are different now for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but in 1990, this was offensive.
Yeah.
I think. Now I'm trying to remember when I watched this if I now I was still a young kid, so I don't know if I would have even realized
Oh,
what was
I didn't.
happening?
I didn't.
So you're saying you didn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I'm just like, I really don't know what they were hoping to accomplish here.
Yeah.
Like,
Um.
I, I honestly don't know
So
the reason behind it. Like, and like the match is okay. It's kind of like a just a brawl.
yeah.
They're all over the stadium and stuff, but
So
I don't know,
during
man. Man,
during Piper's entrance, I wonder if you caught this. Jesse Ventura says to Gorilla, "I'm gonna have to be biased. This is my tag team partner." Did you catch that?
I did hear him say that,
Okay. Do
but
you
I didn't
know?
really understand what it
All right.
meant.
I can explain.
Okay.
So there was an attempt of a cop buddy TV show starring Jesse Ventura and Roddy Piper.
Okay, okay.
The name of the show, Tag Team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
So Danny Davis is our referee for the match. And after 4 matches in a row, starting with a sneak attack, Davis is like, "I'm tired of this bullshit. You're going to your corner. You're going to your corner. When I say go, you go."
That's funny.
Um, it's a fight.
Hmm.
That's really all there is to say. It's a fight.
Yeah.
Um, Match ends in a double countout. Although, although at one point when Piper gets his white glove, Gorilla thought it was an envelope. Like, why would we put on an envelope?
Oh man, that was good stuff.
Yeah. So match ends at a double countout. They fight all the way to the back.
Yeah.
Now the story with the paint, I do know this much. Arnold Skaaland and Andre the Giant used a different kind of paint on Piper. So when Piper tried to wash it off, it did not gum off.
Well, see, I heard another rumor
Okay.
similar to that, that Andre hid, like, there's supposed to be some sort of cream that would take off the paint,
Right.
and he hid it. So Piper had to walk around like half blackface,
Oh man.
which is like, like all the stories I've heard about Andre, I could
Mhm.
kind of like see him doing that.
You look funny, boss.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
exactly, right.
okay. This this is gonna get my lowest grade of the entire show. I gave this a D minus.
Yeah, like, goddamn, have have blackface. How do I even rate this?
Uh
This is like, okay, this is like a 1990s version of a bra and panties match.
yeah,
Like, I'm not even I didn't even give it a grade,
that's fair.
and like I don't think I want to give it a grade because Jesus, it is not good, not good. Roddy,
Um,
come on, man.
yeah.
I know he's no longer with us, but like, come on, man.
So,
Like, you think Vince is like, you gotta paint your body black, just half of it. Like,
it's a
what
great
the
idea.
what
We're
the
in,
hell?
we're in Canada. Nobody will get offended.
Yeah, like, if they came out like wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey, they might have got pissed
Now
off. But
yeah,
you
that
can be
probably
half
would have killed
you
it.
can be half blackface because you know what, like the Prime Minister of Canada dressed up as an East Indian for Halloween.
Hey, and
So
don't
it's
forget,
okay.
don't forget, former President Bill Clinton and his controlling, nagging bitch of a wife, Hillary, were blackface for Halloween. So,
Yeah. Okay, so if we're comparing, our my Prime Minister and your president, then it's okay, Roddy. Go ahead.
All right, so what do you think Meltzer gave this match?
Oh, I don't know.
1 3/4.
Um, 1 3/4.
Yeah, 1 3/4. Okay,
Okay.
now, now to one of my favorite parts of this whole show. This is, to me, an all-time WrestleMania classic.
Okay.
Steve Allen. Okay, I'm sure
Yeah.
people are going to ask, who's Steve Allen? Okay, Steve Allen was the original host of The Tonight Show on NBC.
Yeah.
And he was also a comedian. And he's very good. And you could tell in this show. Um, Unfortunately, towards the end of his life, he was a part of the Parents Television Council and was against the WWF. But that was late 90s. Although he did narrate that wonderful A&E documentary called The Unreal Story of Professional Wrestling. If you've never seen it, please check it out. It's a great, great little feature.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, Steve Allen, he's in the bathroom with a piano.
Yes.
Okay. Why is a man in a bathroom with a piano? Well,
Why isn't anyone in the bathroom with a piano?
well, apparently he's practicing his acoustics because
Right.
he is going to practice singing the Soviet national anthem with his favorite Soviet Union tag team, the Bolsheviks.
How many Soviet Union tag teams are there?
Um, One.
Okay.
So
So
I love this
they're
bit.
all our favorites then.
They are.
Oh yeah.
So,
This this bit is 5 stars compared to that Roddy Piper
oh my
debacle.
God, yes. This is like, I would break the Meltzer scale and go 6 myself. So,
Well, it is in Canada. We can up it a little bit.
yeah, we can up it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, here we go. We're going to do it now. I get no kick from Ukraine. That's not the Soviet national anthem. Oh,
I
okay.
thought it was the Russian anthem. You know what? Honestly, I thought it. I thought it was. I was like, this. They're not singing it right. I was watching like the World Junior Hockey Championship. I'm like,
I'm
this isn't
still
the
waiting for
song.
that national anthem for, the Winter Olympics. I get no kick from Ukraine.
People are
35
like,
years
oh my
later, and
god,
I'm
guys,
still singing that song. All
right?
right. So they're like, okay, I apologize. Here we go. Take two. Yeah,
Yeah,
da, 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 da. Hey, that's not the Soviet national anthem. I know that's not the Soviet national anthem. And then you hear Boris go, that's the Polish national anthem.
yep,
Oh,
so
and
good.
that makes me laugh because my dad's family, like his parents came from Poland over 100 years ago. So
And then you laugh, so it's okay.
yeah. All right, here we
Beautiful.
go. Take three. At the striker is striker, does she the and how is your sister tonight? Boom boom. So now they're getting really upset.
Oh my god, I love it.
And then Steve Allen's like, okay, here we go. One more time, straight from the heart. And then you hear a toilet flush.
Yeah. Then the two Soviet guys try to fight each other. Like, what is happening right now?
Oh,
And like, it's such a train wreck, but still better than
it's great.
half black. Oh yeah,
Now,
it's
now are you
awesome.
now are you ready for this little bit? This little bit. Apparently, Steve Allen had creative control of this bit.
That's great.
Of
Creative
this,
control.
well, I mean, he got to write his jokes and stuff, but
Yeah.
but he did for this bit and another one we're going to talk about later.
Okay.
So, Hart Foundation are in the ring, which leads to our next match.
Do you need a moment to gather yourself?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
Uh,
you're good. All right. Good.
I love that bit. It's great.
Oh, it was awesome.
So
No
the
doubt about
Bolsheviks come down
it.
and they start to sing the Soviet national anthem. While they're doing that, the Hart Foundation attack him from behind.
No.
Nikolai, he gets knocked out of the ring. Boris gets beat up. Heart attack. 1, 2, 3. The Hearts win in record time, I think.
One of my favorite Heart Foundation matches.
Because it's so quick and to the point.
Yes. And like, you know what I loved about this is cocky Brett.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see cocky Brett that much. Like around this time you did,
It's
because
good here.
like I think I now I'm trying to remember. Um are they babyface team or they cheered because they're Canadian?
No, they're babyface team.
Okay, because they were a heel team for the longest time.
Yeah. Now,
Um, yeah, like I loved it when they did the heart attack, and
mm-hmm.
then Brett looked in the camera and he's just like 1, 2, 3, game over, and he's just like, and then they get up and they're like
Yeah.
talking their trash and stuff. So
Now,
good.
one thing I didn't mention earlier that I do want to mention now is leading up to this show, the Hearts put out a challenge for the winner of the tag title match,
Yeah,
saying, we want the next shot. So
sure.
we'll see how that goes. All right. Now, DK, are you ready for
Yes,
this? The Los
I think so.
Angeles Memorial Coliseum, site of the
Yes.
Super Bowl, the World Series, and the Olympics, will be the host of WrestleMania VII on March 24, 1991. See that
Hmm.
little campaign video they sent out worked for them. They're going to get
Yeah.
WrestleMania 7.
In in the giant stadium,
Yeah, I mean, there's
not a small arena because they have this horrible storyline.
and there's absolutely no way that a war in the Middle East is going to cause them to switch venues.
Have
uh,
we have we reviewed that show?
not
I
yet.
think. Oh, good.
Oh, that's another classic.
Yeah.
So, this is actually the first WrestleMania, I believe, where we find out where the next year's WrestleMania is. So this sets another precedent.
Yeah, because like there's 4 and 5 were in the same venue.
Mm-hmm.
6 was a big deal because it's in Canada.
Yeah,
But yeah, you don't really hear like where WrestleMania is going to be, and like WrestleMania 2 was kind of cool. It was like multiple
3 places.
cities.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if that will ever happen again.
I'm a
I I feel like it was a little bit unorganized,
yeah.
but
I think
at the same time, like you know how they do the multiple night
if
WrestleMania to really get everybody on the card.
if they
I'd be
organize
curious if they ever did like a multi-city type thing.
if they organized it right and properly, I think they could do it. But that'll be another
Yeah,
talk for another time.
for
So
sure.
Jesse's excited about this news. All of his friends, his Hollywood friends, are going to be there.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we see Bobby Heenan coming with the Barbarian, his newest acquisition. And then we go back to Mean Gene, who interviews Tito Santana, and he asks him, how is the Barbarian going to transition from being a tag team to a singles wrestler? And Tito's like, well, I think he's going to be good, but as long as he's got that weasel manager, I'm going to have to keep my eye out for the both of them. And
Yeah.
then this bit, like this 3-4 minutes, is like the best Jesse Ventura I think ever. So as Tito is coming down the aisle in the cart,
Yeah.
Jesse talks about how the music, the theme song, reminds him of the Blue Note Club in Tijuana, and how he picked up women.
Yeah.
And he starts to list them off. Well, there's
Yeah.
Juanita,
He just like being a complete racist, dude.
and
And I don't
then
know why this is okay, but that like half blackface we're all offended by, but it's okay for Jesse to make all these jokes. But
and
it's still
then
so good.
and then as the match begins, as the match begins, he's like, Chico should have sent the Barbarian one of his burritos before the match, he would have had an advantage. And Gorilla is so pissed off. He's like,
Yeah, he
stop.
would have had an advantage.
That's enough. That's
That's
enough.
not enough. Seriously, he would have he would have had an advantage because he would have been in the bathroom. He wouldn't have been able to compete.
He would have won 5 minutes
Ser-
into the match.
He's like, seriously, Gorilla, I had one of those burritos. He should have sent him one.
You're not normal for a week.
You're not. Oh man.
Okay. But as far as this match goes, for the 4 minutes and 33 seconds that this match is tremendous. It is really good. This match has no right to be as good as it is.
Yeah.
Santana hits the flying forearm on Barbarian. Heenan puts Barbarian's foot on the rope. Tito tries a move. He gets clotheslined on the top rope. Barbarian hits the top rope clothesline. 1, 2, 3. Barbarian wins. It was really a really good match for 4.5 minutes. I gave this a C.
Kayla, I'm gonna ask you a serious question here
Okay.
right now.
No, I did
Is
not have
this
any of Chico's burritos.
no, is this the greatest Barbarian match in his career
Ooh,
in the 4 minutes? Because I think it is.
it
And
is.
and what did Tito Santana do to the creative team? Because I don't know if you knew, I think we talked about this before.
Mhm.
He had his record on main shows
Is
was like three
terrible.
and tw- it was like 3-26 or something. It was freaking ridiculous.
Poor
Like,
Tito.
why is Tito losing to the Barbarian at WrestleMania? Like, what is happening?
Oh
Um,
man.
I thought this match was pretty good. The wrestling I'll give a C to, like you
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
and the commentary is 5 stars,
Oh my
A plus.
God. It is fantastic. It really is.
Like I wanted to pause it and go make a burrito so I can eat a burrito while Jesse's talking about burritos.
Oh my God.
And he's talking about his Spanish chicks he picked up in his bar.
While he was in the seals.
She, well, I forget what the name was, but oh my god, it's so
Juanita.
good. Juanita, that was it. Oh my god, I love it so
Okay.
much.
So
Match of the night. Match of the night.
match of the night. Okay. So I kind of skipped
Amazing.
the previous match. That match got a quarter of a star from Meltzer. Um, what do you think he gave Barbarian and Santana?
Um, so sorry, what was the match that you're referring to that got the
The
star rating that
Hearts,
you just said?
the Hearts and the Bolsheviks.
Oh, okay. The star rating that Meltzer gave?
Hmm.
I I think he might have liked this one. I'll go 2.5 stars.
3/4 of a star.
Come on, Dave.
How could you not?
Well, if it
It's
was like Japanese food he was talking about, maybe the Tokyo freaking I don't know
I went had some
something.
sushi and match. All right.
Yeah, if it
So
was like about sushi or something, and it was New Japan something,
right.
then it would have been different, right?
Actually, I am going to mention this. I'm going to be having fajitas this weekend for dinner. I wish I could have a burrito, but eh, fajitas are like the
Okay,
next
I
best.
need to ask you a question, right? I need to ask you something right now.
Okay.
Okay. It's Wednesday night when we record this.
Yes.
How do you know what you're having for dinner this weekend?
Okay. Well, see, my brother's coming up to help with some
Okay.
stuff, and what my parents do is whenever we have like a family member come up, they set up like what we're gonna have for dinner for like however many days the person's gonna be.
That is amazing. I
Yeah.
I love structure, okay?
That's one of the
When
reasons why.
I come home, Like with our situation we have now, like my wife works a different shift, so I come home and it's like single parent style. I gotta like figure out what we're having for dinner. Gotta make the dinner. And then the kids are like, I don't want that. Like when I was a kid, that's how it was. It was Wednesday, we're having meatloaf. Like we knew in advance. And I want to get back to that. So, anyways, back to
That's
WrestleMania 6,
that
the ultimate challenge.
the ultimate
The ultimate
challenge of
challenge.
scheduling
The
your
ultimate
dinners.
challenge is scheduling my dinner. You took the words out of my mouth because I couldn't say them because it was hard for me.
That's one of the reasons why my parents have been married for 49 years come next week. So
49 years. Wow.
49 years. Yep.
That that's incredible.
I think they would have worked well in the scenario of this next match because we get the build up for the mixed tag match with Dusty and Sapphire against the Macho King and Sensational Queen Sherry. So we saw what happened at the Rumble during the Brother Love show, and then last week,
And we talked on our Rumble show about how much of a train wreck that was for me. That
yeah,
whole segment.
yeah, and then during the Ultimate Challenge special last week, Savage and Rhodes had a one-on-one match, and the managers got involved too. So we get Sean Mooney in the back with Dusty Rhodes and Sapphire, and Dusty has to correct Sean. He's like, "Oh no, this is not Sapphire. This is Sweet Sapphire, and this is the common man." So he talks about different things that the Macho King and Queen Sherry don't have. And there's one
Yeah.
thing that they don't have, DK. It's a pretty big thing. The crown jewel. And then Sean's like,
Yeah, baby.
and then Sean's like, crown jewel. All
Yeah.
right. So
What could that possibly mean?
I know. All right. Now I'm going to make a confession here. As a kid,
Okay.
when I watched this show, I fast forward the Savage Sherry entrance because I thought it took forever for them to come
It
down
did.
to the ring. I did. I mean, I was a kid. I was
Oh,
like,
it did take forever.
yeah, it felt like it as a kid. And I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, I could see why I kind of fast forward through this as a kid. So
I can see why you'd fast forward as an adult. It is a long entrance
I
for
actually
sure.
stuck through it on this one. So
Okay.
okay, so Dusty, now this is a big deal. This is Dusty's WrestleMania debut and his last WrestleMania match. This is his
So you had one match.
yeah,
This is WrestleMania.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
know what? I'm gonna say this now before I forget. Watching the match, I actually
Mhm.
had thoughts of should they have switched this around? Should this have been Dusty and Savage one-on-one at Mania and then the mixed tag at SummerSlam? And my mind was kind of arguing, like, yes, that should have been it. But then the other part of me is like, no, because if we do change it, we don't get the fun of this match.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like,
And I think it'd be kind of like I guess they could have uh, um they could have like the two matches if they did it the
mhm,
other way around, but I just don't think that they could have the result
right.
because it wouldn't have made sense.
So Jesse starts complaining about how much Dusty and Sapphire's total combined weight is.
I know. That's like my favorite part of the whole thing. Okay, he's like, he's like, you're telling me Dusty's only 200 because I know Sapphire's 250.
I know damn well Sapphire's 2.25.
She's one biscuit shy at 225 or whatever. Oh my god, I was killing myself.
All right, so after they get in the ring,
Poor
Dusty grabs
Sapphire.
the mic and he tells them, we got something that you don't, that you're missing in royalty. The crown jewel. It's Miss Elizabeth. to a huge
Hmm.
ovation.
Yeah. First
And,
Lady Wrestling.
oh, dude, she looked gorgeous. Oh
Was
my,
there a time that she didn't look gorgeous?
thank you.
Like there's like a little bit of times in WCW when she's looking a little too slutty for me.
But even then, she was looking good.
Not saying she wasn't gorgeous when she was
Right.
dressed like that, but
Okay.
she was always like she didn't have to dress like Sunny to look good.
Hmm.
Like she come out in a nice dress and look like $1 million, not prancing
I
around like a little skank.
I'm going to say this right now. And
Okay,
I'm going to make the argument. I will make this argument to the day I die.
okay.
Now, first off, Stacy Keibler is my dream girl. She is. Like,
But Oscar was your dream girl.
well, Asuka's like the backup.
Oscar's your backup?
Yeah.
Man.
It's a Maryland thing. That's
Okay.
but Elizabeth is the most natural, beautiful looking woman in the history of wrestling.
Oh yeah.
I mean, no one even, maybe Sunny, maybe comes close.
Okay, so with Stacy Keebler, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is this Miss Hancock or Stacy Keebler in WWE?
Stacy Keibler and
Or
W.
does it? Okay, because Miss Hancock was freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah, she was. She was.
I thought she was better looking. Now I know it's the same person. People were like, "That's
Right.
the same person." DK. Anyways, just yeah, she come out in like business suit and with the legs and everything. Like, oh my
And
god,
I'm talking non-competitors in this.
sure.
So
I don't know who my dream girl would be in wrestling. I gotta
so
think about this.
all right. Well, why don't we get to the match because we're gonna get carried away here. So we are explained of this match. The men can only fight the men, and the women can only fight the women. And Jesse's like, "Oh, that sucks. I kind of want to see Sapphire go against Savage."
He wanted Sapphire to take an elbow drop from
Yes.
Savage
Okay.
after while he's eating his taco or burrito or whatever we were talking about before.
So the commentary is fantastic. This is like
Oh yeah,
as far as like the matches go, the commentary in this match is like the second best job of the entire show, with number one being later for me. But this is so good because
yeah,
Rose. Okay, so early in the match, Sherry gets on Dusty's back, and Rhodes, kind of grabs her to get her off. The whole
yeah.
time, Jesse's like, Dusty touched her first. Dusty touched Sherry first.
And he goes off for like 10 minutes about it.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, well, he started it.
And Gorilla's like, and
It
Gorilla's
was
like,
like two kids arguing about who should go to their room.
this is unprecedented. This is his story. And all you care about are the rules.
Well, he started it. And it is kind of funny if you look at the commentary objectively,
Mhm.
because Gorilla like always cheers for the baby faces,
Yeah.
and if they cheat, it's okay because he started it.
Mhm.
So it's a little hypocritical. Like obviously,
Oh, yeah.
it's the commentary team, and that's kind of what they're supposed to do. Supposed to kind of go against each other. It makes it
Yeah.
more exciting.
So, the end of the match, Sapphire and Sherry are in the ring. Sapphire knocks Sherry out to the floor. Elizabeth grabs Sherry and throws her back into the ring to a nice pop. And
And
then,
now after that happened,
yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no, it's okay.
Is this the first time Elizabeth got physical ever? Because I think
I
it was.
I think it is.
Because I think that's like the major part of the crowd popping so
Yeah.
big was because she had never, like, she was always just on the sideline clapping.
Hmm.
She was Jason Garrett,
Yeah.
if you get that reference. She's
Wow.
just clapping away.
Wow.
I know. Now you're gonna
So
picture
then,
Miss Elizabeth and thinking,
as the ref is distracted with what Dusty and Savage have going on, Sherry tries to go for Elizabeth. They have a little bit of a hair pull match.
yeah,
Elizabeth pushes Sherry. Sapphire is on the ground, so Sherry falls over. Sapphire goes for the pin. One, two, three. Dusty and Sapphire get the win.
right. And Sapphire got the pin, didn't she?
She got the pin. Sapphire got her
Yeah,
WrestleMania moment.
you sure did.
Even before we even knew what a WrestleMania moment was.
Yeah, because like this is like six WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
So we didn't know it was going to become this amazing
Cultural
40
phenomenon.
40 type things, right?
Yeah. Okay. So for me, the match is an entertaining match. The commentary is phenomenal and makes this even better. I gave this a B minus.
Yeah, you know what? I probably wouldn't rank it as high, but the way it went down,
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely with you. I think C plus for me.
Okay, that's fine. What do you think Meltzer gave this match?
Probably 3 stars.
One and a half.
1.5,
One and a half.
really?
Oh, all right. By the way, WrestleMania 7 coming to the Los Angeles Coliseum March 24th, 1991.
You don't say.
I know, crazy, isn't it? So we're in the back. Mean Gene is interviewing Bobby Heenan. This is a great segment because Heenan's like, I'm the nicest guy in the world. I can get along with anybody. And then Mean Gene calls him out, and Mean Gene is like, "Oh, Bobby, where do you get the nerve to slap Andre the Giant in the face?"
Yeah. Like, oops, I said balls.
And then Bobby's reply is, "I'll tell you where I got the nerve to slap Andre the Giant."
You know
And then,
what? A lot of great things at this WrestleMania happened
yes,
not in the ring.
yes. And then
Like a
Bobby,
guy was playing piano in the bathroom, and it was better than 3 or 4 of the matches at the beginning of the show.
and then Bobby Heenan has one of the all-time greatest lines. If you listen to me, you go right to the top. If you don't listen to me, you're never heard from again. That's one of the all-time great lines.
Where do you rank Bobby Heenan as managers in history of wrestling?
Oh, he's number one for me. Like
Number one?
I understand. Look, I understand people going like, "Oh, Paul Heyman's the greatest," but with all due respect to Heyman, Heenan is like the perfect villain. He's like he's kind of like those old silent movie villains, with the mustache, but he doesn't have it. He's this pretty boy. He thinks he's pretty, obnoxious. He's right, you're wrong. Even when he's wrong, he's right. He's
Yeah,
he's the goat for me.
the goat.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do you have him? I'm curious.
I have him near the top.
Okay.
Um, I never really like tried to think of who the goat would be.
Right.
Um, one of my favorite managers is someone we just talked about, and that's Miss Elizabeth.
Oh yeah.
Now, sure, she only managed like Savage and
Hogan.
Hogan there for a bit, but
Hmm.
um, and then yeah, of course, I think you got to throw Paul Heyman in the ring there.
Oh yeah, you do.
Um, it, on the down low, I always enjoyed the Doctor of Style.
Yes. Oh, I love
Loved
Slick.
him.
Love him.
I loved him. Um, But yeah, like Heenan, it's hard to not pick Heenan because he like managed pretty much every heel there was in the
Mhm.
business,
Yeah.
like at that time. So
And I got to meet him.
did you?
Yep.
What
Um,
what year did you get to meet him?
2006.
No, that's
It
cool.
was my first wrestling convention. It was a 21st birthday gift from my folks. He and Jim Cornette had a 2-hour Q&A session. One of the funniest
Really?
nights I've ever had in my life. It was hilarious. And at the end of it, when we're leaving, we pass Cornette and Heenan. So, I shake both men's hands and I shake Heenan's
Yep.
hand. And I'm like, I will never wash this hand again. And he goes, did you even wash that hand before?
Nice.
Even in
Um,
'06, he still got it.
I um I would also put Cornette up there too.
Oh, yeah, me too. I would.
So that's pretty cool. You got to meet him at the same time.
Yeah. So, Mean Gene sends us to Gorilla and Jesse with a very weird interview segment with Rona Barrett. And she tells us that she has discovered footage of a young Jesse Ventura um, of the
Yeah.
adult variety. And Gorilla is like,
Like, what are we doing with this pay-per-view?
Gorilla's like, X-rated footage. And he's like, we've got the tape. We got the
We've
tape.
got to,
I'm thinking, like, does Gorilla really want this played on pay-per-view?
I'm like, does Gorilla have the tape like at home? Like, does he watch this with his wife or whatever? Like, what are we doing?
Hey, honey, look at Ventura.
Hey, look, there's Jesse. He's wearing his boa, and that's it. Where is this podcast going with this? What we're talking about on this episode? Like I knew this was going to be good.
uh,
This episode.
I could teach Joey that move.
I can't wait till we get to the Warrior promo of nothing.
Oh, God. All right. So Jesse is like,
Physically, none of us
it's
can
going
live
to live
forever.
forever. So,
What?
so,
Jim, what are you saying?
so Jesse is told that Sean Mooney has Savage and Sherry in the back. We go to that promo. Savage is upset. He says the crown jewel doesn't exist and that Dusty and Sapphire, they're going to feel the pain the next time they see him. And then
The
we go
pain.
and then we go back to Mean Gene, who's got Demolition. And I can honestly tell from Axe in this promo, like he is genuinely happy about this. Like you could kind of see it in his eyes, you could kind of hear it in his voice, how genuinely happy he is that they won the belts back. And
Well, that's good.
they're celebrating. Um,
Yeah.
so after that 5-minute intermission, we come back and Gorilla tells Jesse, oh, during the break, I watched the film. It's nothing.
During the break. Okay, it's 1990. What did you watch it on? Like, it's not like
Uh,
they emailed you a
Betamax.
file,
They watched it on
or
Betamax.
I actually had a Betamax machine in my parents' house. So
Oh
so
man.
terrible.
All right. So we head to the back. Mean Gene is with Hulk Hogan, and he starts Hulk Hogan, the greatest World Wrestling Federation champion of all time. Here we are at WrestleMania 6. The wait is over. Here comes the ultimate challenge. And then Hogan gets into a little bit of nonsense as well, because he's like, when I stepped into the Sky Dome, I saw the greatest arena of all times where the ultimate challenge will take place. And then during the promo, he asks the warrior, do you want to live forever? If you do, me and my Hulksters, we can save you from the darkness and bring you into the light and all that. And then he ends with kind of a heelish ending. He's like, it doesn't matter if you win or if you lose. What matters is what kind of a winner you are and what kind of a loser you are. And brother, I sure hope you're a good loser. What you gonna do?
It was a good line
It is.
because it was like you said, it was a little heelish,
A little.
a little, and then, but like if you analyze what he said, that's kind of the message he was like kind of giving the kids anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a good role model. So like if you're gonna win, like it's kind of like when you're talking to kids about playing sports, like not matter whether you win or lose. It's if you had a good time, if you had fun. Similar to that
Very
for
much.
me.
So now we go to DK's favorite promo. Sean
Oh my
Mooney
God.
in the back with the Ultimate Warrior, and Warrior's
I
like,
wanted to do an entire podcast on this promo
and
because
Warrior's like,
good God.
you don't get to be in the same room with the same breath as Hulk Hogan and I.
I believe his name's pronounced Hulk Hogan.
I know. I let you do that. You say that better than I ever could.
Hulk Hogan.
So he talks about how Hulk Hogan has ruled for the last 5 WrestleManias. Okay, well that's good to know considering there's only been 5 WrestleManias up to this point.
And WrestleMania 4, he wasn't even in.
Yeah.
So,
And then the line that DK mentioned earlier. Physically, none of us can live forever. See, I learned something from the Warrior. None of
oh
us
my
physically
God.
can live forever.
You should never learn anything from the Warrior. It's not good.
Hey, if that's the
Anyway,
only thing I learned from the Warrior, then I'll be fine.
yeah.
Um, and then basically he says, I want to take you with me, share my beliefs, my thoughts, you know, and basically that's the whole promo. So,
What was really exciting about this possible matchup is like the first time that you had two
mm-hmm.
fan favorites facing each other
Oh,
in
it's
like any
lit.
kind of major match.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that always bothered me about this when they said it was title for title, because it wasn't. Whoever won this match was going to be the World Wrestling Federation champion.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever lost this match was going to be like they would have the Intercontinental title, like the winner would have both titles,
Yeah.
but they would forfeit the Intercontinental title. They said that at the beginning. So there was no upside for Hogan here. You either win, you keep your title, and then you forfeit the Intercontinental title, or you just win and you keep your belt.
But
So like I kind of wish they had a way to for Warrior to drop the title without like before this happened. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't know. I always thought
and
that
I
was kind of
understand that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, as an adult, I understand that. But when you're a kid and you're watching this, you don't have that thought in your mind. You're like, oh my God, someone's going to win both belts. Like, that's my mindset. And again, I understand it as an adult and it doesn't make sense now, but as a kid, you
like
never
as an
think,
adult, like as a kid, I kind of went like, okay, so Hogan's. I thought it was kind of cool because I thought Hogan was going to win, and I was like, oh, so he'll have more matches now
mm-hmm,
because he'll have two titles.
yeah.
And then they basically said that whoever wins will forfeit the Intercontinental title. It's like so you're just like throwing the Intercontinental title in the garbage here and proving that it's not worth as much. Like
Metaphorically.
I never liked I never really liked that title for title
No,
the way they classified it.
I understand. All right. Now to our next match. It is the Orient Express with Mr. Fuji versus the Rockers.
Yeah.
And this is the match where we find out that Jesse is on the championship committee. And he's the silent majority, apparently.
The silent majority. Okay.
The silent majority. I don't know what that means, but I'll just go with it. Okay. I kind of underestimated this match. It's a lot better than I ever remember this match being. It's really a good tag match. Um, Obviously, the one they have at the Rumble the next year is even better, but
Yeah,
this
they
is
had good matches.
yeah, this is a good tag match. Um,
And this was like the first match kind of after like
the
the
intermission.
the intermission.
Yeah.
Like you had the two promos
Yeah.
that we saw on the pay-per-view. But I'm like I'm assuming those promos were aired on the Jumbotron and everyone saw it, but
They might have not heard it.
it was essentially an intermission here. So this is kind of like another opener.
Yeah.
Like if there was a second half of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought this was a really good match for for that spot.
Hmm.
I would almost like we were talking about the Coco Beware match.
Yeah.
Like this match might have been like a really good one to start the show.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like an opener too. So
Yeah. Just a really good back and forth match. And then you get to the end of the match. Fuji hits Janetti with the cane. Fuji loses the cane. Janetti grabs it. And he's like, I'm going to finally get you. And then Sato from behind with a handful of salt throws it into Janetti's eyes, blinds him. And then I love this one part. So Michaels goes to the outside. He and Janetti, they're like about to pass each other. And it looks
mhm.
kind of like Michael's like, you're okay, buddy. And then Janetti flips over the barricade into the first row of fans.
Right.
It's not meant to be funny, but it just is.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm definitely with you on that one.
Um, so the Orient Express win as a result of a countout.
Yeah, this might be one of the best count out endings
Yeah.
that I've seen. Usually like you're left wanting more,
Mm-hmm.
but it was you know Mr. WrestleMania. This is I think they debuted at 5, right?
Five. Yeah, so this is his second one.
Yeah. So it's not a debut by any means, but
Right.
I thought they had a really good showing here.
I gave this match a C plus. That's how good this match is, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. I have a C rating on this one,
Okay.
so
That's
very close.
yeah.
Like C plus and C is like
That's very
very
close.
close.
All right. What do
Like
you
yeah,
think?
like for an ending to not really have an actual ending,
And it
like a
doesn't hurt
count out
anybody.
victory.
It doesn't hurt
Like
anybody.
like could you imagine at WrestleMania 40 there being a count out ending?
Oh, the
The
people would
internet
boo.
would lose their minds.
Oh my God. They would.
Like, could you imagine? There's some tag match
Mm-hmm.
between four guys, and it's WrestleMania, and nobody wins.
Yeah.
This happened all the time in this era.
Oh, they would be bashing
It's
that
just
match.
amazing.
They'd
Yeah,
be booing that match as much as they boo Maxine Dupree, which
right.
if you've seen
Like,
that video,
oh, gee,
shame
yeah,
on you. Um, what
exactly.
what rating did Meltzer give this match, you think?
Um, 3 stars,
3 stars. Very good.
and I'm not cheating. I
No, he's
promise you.
not. So to this point, this is Dave's highest rated match of the show. Kind of kind of weird, but cool. All
Yeah,
right. So we go to the back to Steve Allen again for another great bit.
get to know how they got that piano in that bathroom.
Well, I'm sure they found a way.
Like, how they have behind the scenes of like
Yes.
WrestleManias now on the
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
Would have been great to see one for this show.
Yeah. So he's outside the locker room and he's like, "Hi, folks. I'm standing here outside the locker room of the hottest new rock and roll band. Unfortunately, they are not here. However, I will be going into the locker room of Rhythm and, believe it or not, Blues." So it's Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine. So they talk for a little bit, and Honky's mentioning how he's very excited. And Steve Allen has like the one of the best lines of the night. He's like, "Well, I'll be honest, I haven't been this excited since I found out Pee Wee Herman was straight."
Oh, that was bad.
You don't know what he's referring, do you?
Nope.
Okay, I'll explain. So he got arrested
Yeah.
jerking off at an adult movie theater.
Well, I know that.
And because I guess Alan thought he was gay, but once he heard that, he's like, "Oh, thank goodness he's on our team."
Thank goodness. It's better that he's masturbating in a public setting than
Right.
being gay because
So
it's 1990.
so Honky Tonk Man says this concert is bigger than Woodstock, bigger than the Rolling Stones, even bigger than a Beatles reunion. And Steve Allen has another great line. He's like, "Yes, but it's probably as big as the time Tiny Tim played on the Vince Lombardi Parkway in New Jersey." And then
And Steve Allen had some decent lines here.
he does. And then Greg the Hammer Valentine ends it with,
Great
"We're on
Valentine
our we're
Hammer.
on our way to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." And Steve Allen's like,
Yeah.
"I'll call and warn them." Uh, all right, back to the ring. Dino Bravo is there with Jimmy Hart and Earthquake. And Gorilla's already got questions. Why is Earthquake at ringside? And then here comes Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And
Yeah.
he's got the American. Okay, now I got to ask. As a Canadian, were you
Yeah.
offended that Duggan was waving the American flag?
No.
Okay,
Why would I?
I
That
don't know.
that'd be like me offended with Kurt Angle wearing U.S. attire in Canada. It's
Okay,
just like his thing. Like he
scared.
was yelling USA to the crowd, and the crowd was yelling it back because they
Right.
just loved Duggan.
So Jesse is upset because he's waving an American flag, not a Canadian flag. And
Well, he's American.
he is.
Why would he wave a Canadian flag?
And then Jesse's like, "Oh, Glen Falls is only 150 miles from the border."
Yeah, he's pretty much Canadian.
Oh, but the commentary, like, this is the match where the commentary like makes this match minimal because
Yeah, it makes it okay because it wasn't really great.
because Gorilla is like, "Why is Earthquake out here?" And Jesse's like, "To lend moral support." And then Gorilla is like, "You can't have a wrestler's license and a manager's license at the same time." So
Why
he
not?
You can't. Come on. Oh, no, no, please. You can't.
Why can't you have both?
You can't have both. The state, and province regulation, the athletic committee, they won't let you have both. Come on.
Well, that's the silly talk. What if you want to be a manager and a wrestler?
Well,
You have to choose.
yeah, you've got to choose.
I'd have to wear a mask if I was a wrestler. Then I want to do both.
Maybe. And then we get, oh my God, this part is so freaking hilarious. So Duggan is in the this is how little this match means to us.
Yep.
Duggan is in the corner beating up Bravo. Referee
Yep.
tries to get involved. Duggan touches the referee. Jesse flips his lid, and
Yep.
Gorilla's like, "He touched the ref?" And, and then Jesse's like,
Look, I guess you didn't see that. He's
"Oh,
all
you're
mad
only
about
on your seventh hot
it.
dog."
Yep.
And then they start this back and forth argument. "I haven't
Yeah.
had a
What?
hot dog all day and you know it. And Jesse's like, look at you. You got mustard on your lapel,
Look
Muncie.
at you. Look at you. You've had another hot dog.
You're having another hot dog.
Yeah. Oh man, so good.
So the end of the well, oh my god, it's so funny. So the
I
end of
just
the
wanted
match,
hot dogs and burritos by the end of this pay-per-view.
and I got fried chicken in the fridge, so you know.
Oh man, there you go.
So the end of the match, Duggan grabs the 2x4, hits Bravo with it. Referee doesn't see it. 1, 2, 3. Duggan wins. After the match, Earthquake beats up Duggan. Earthquake splash after earthquake splash after earthquake splash.
And these dumbass Canadians cheering for Jim Duggan, who's waving the American flag, versus a Canadian in Dino Bravo. Like,
Hey,
what are they doing?
you called your own countrymen dumbasses. I'm staying out of it.
They are. Well, these are people from Toronto. How smart could they be?
Oh boy. The opinions of DK are not
Uh,
necessarily those.
oh, we
Okay,
have the same opinions.
I know.
You believe what I say.
Sure. Okay.
No, obviously I'm
Um
joking, but
the okay. So the grade that I'm giving this match is basically for the commentary. Like if this
based on the hot
match,
dog comment alone.
pretty much. I gave this a D plus.
And that's with the great commentary.
Yeah.
So this is a fail match with
Oh
some
yeah.
hilarious
Yeah.
Jesse comments.
Yeah.
You got mustard on your lapel.
Oh,
I'll give it a C minus with the mustard line
okay.
because that was pretty good.
Uh, what do you
This is
think
very forgettable.
it is? What do you think Meltzer gave this?
Oh, probably -2 stars.
1.5.
He did not.
Yes, he did. He gave
He
this the same rating as the big stack.
so this match got a better rating than the Coco Beware match.
No, Coco got the better rating.
Oh, I thought that was half a star.
No, Coco was 2 stars.
Okay, there was some match that was half a star. I can't remember
Yeah.
which it was though.
So,
Yeah,
all right. So
I don't know honestly.
just
Like
just so
like some of the Dave stuff, I'm just like, you know what? So, like sometimes we do agree, and then sometimes it's just like, wow,
he
what are you?
rated this match higher than the Barbarian and Tito Santana.
Which is the greatest barbarian
Barbarian
match
match.
in history.
It's either that one or the one with Boss Man at the Rumble, one of those two, but probably the one that we saw is the better. So,
Yeah,
all right. Now we got a video package for Jake the Snake Roberts and the $1 Million Man. We see eventually that Jake takes the $1 million belt, and this match is for the $1 million belt. And
yeah.
we are reminded by Gorilla that this is not a sanctioned belt by the WWF. So
So you can win it like anyway. Like if it
anyway,
was count out, you can win.
yeah, pretty much.
Why is the $1 Million Man putting this on the line? Like what is he to gain?
Well, it's his property. He wants it back.
Okay,
That's the
but
only thing I could think of.
okay, so Jake had it. Did Jake win it or did it
No,
steal it?
what happened was, and it's in the video package. He DiBiase before a match says, anybody that wants this belt, if you want it, come and get it. So after
Yeah, I
the
don't know why he would
match,
do that.
Jake comes out. He and DiBiase fight. He sends DiBiase out. The belt's in the middle of the ring, and he takes it.
Right.
And it goes back to what he said. If you want it, come and get it. He
Well,
came
he
out,
did say that.
yeah, and he got it. All right. Now we got to talk about the single greatest promo in the history of civilization that is cut on this show. Jake the Snake Roberts, the match is at hand. $1 Million Man. This promo is just freaking phenomenal. This is the best Jake promo ever. He talks about, all the
Yeah,
things that DiBiase's done. the money he's used and abused, and money that the poor people that he shoved down their throats could use essentials for. And
Definitely.
he's gonna make them big. And then he ends with, how appropriate is it that the money you grumble for is your very own, a victim of your own greed, wallowing in the muck of Everest. And then
Well,
Gene,
there's nobody that had better promos.
yeah. And then Gene has the great line of, Longfellow couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
So we get to this match, $1 million belt. Jake tries on 3 occasions early to go for the DDT, and DiBiase gets out.
Yep.
During the match, this is kind of a forgotten, I think, a forgotten WrestleMania moment, unless you really watch the show like DK and I have. The fans start doing the wave.
Yeah. That
The
was that was a huge
upper
moment.
deck starts doing the wave, then the lower deck starts doing the wave. Jesse's excited because there's a freaking wave going on.
How could you
No,
not be excited?
I know, right? So, but this is a really good match because DiBiase, he gets the advantage back. He's got Jake in a head, front face lock for a while, and he's doing everything he can to beat Roberts, but he just can't do it. And then Jake manages to get back into the match. He tries to go for the DDT again, but Virgil grabs his foot. Roberts goes to the outside to fight Virgil. Roberts and DiBiase are fighting outside. DiBiase's got the $1 million dream on Jake. Jake ducks. DiBiase rams himself into the post. Referee is counting. Virgil grabs DiBiase, rolls him back into the ring. Referee counts out Roberts. Ted DiBiase wins the belt back.
All is right in the world, $1 million champion.
Mm-hmm. So
DiBiase had to win this.
he
He had to
kind
get
of
his
did.
property back, right?
Yeah. So after the match, Roberts gets back in the ring, and Roberts double clotheslines DiBiase and Virgil. So Virgil runs out of there with the belt. As this is happening, DiBiase tries for a clothesline. Jake hits him with the DDT. Money, there's money on the ring. DiBiase's out cold. So Jake's
Yep.
music starts to play. Jake sees the money. He picks it up and he starts giving the money to the people in the front row. And it's real money. It's the real deal. It's legit. It's a C note $100 bill. The fan,
American too. These Canadians are like, oh my god.
I mean, you can use American money in Canada.
Oh, you can.
And then Jake has one more $100 bill in his hand. He gives it to Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah, because she needed it.
Exactly. And that's what Jesse's like, oh, like she needs the $100 bill. And Gorilla's like, you're right, Jess. She doesn't need the money.
Mary Tyler Moore should have got in there and started handing out money too,
Aw. So
out of
then
her
Jake,
purse.
so then Jake grabs one more $100 bill, stuffs it in DiBiase's mouth.
Yep.
And then he
That was
goes to,
good.
yeah, it was. It really was. Because DiBiase's been doing that for close to 3 years now. And
Yeah.
finally someone does it to him.
It was a great way to finish this whole storyline because
Mm-hmm.
you get the $1 million belt back on DiBiase,
Yeah.
which, you know, probably not a huge deal, but they did that. And then the fans still go home happy with Jake getting the last laugh over him.
Mm-hmm. So Jake grabs his snake, but Virgil runs right back out with the belt still in his hand. As he gets DiBiase out of the ring, he gets chased to the back.
Yeah.
As far as the match goes, This is a good match. I had not seen this in a long time. I had my doubts. It far exceeded what I thought of this match. I gave this a C plus.
See, I'm a little confused on why you would think it wouldn't be good. Like these are two phenomenal
Oh,
performers.
they are.
DiBiase was one of the greatest heels we ever saw. So when I went into this match, like I was expecting a great match, and that's what we got. I actually gave this match a B minus.
Okay.
This is my top match so far.
Okay. What do you think Meltzer gave this match?
Um, let's go 2.25.
Two and a half.
All right.
All right, so now we go to the back. Sean Mooney is with Slick and Akeem, and Slick never has looked better than he did on this day. That blue suit, that white hat. Oh my God.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
if someone wants to get that custom made, mailed to me, I'll give you the numbers and so he's happy about what just happened, and now he and Akeem got paid extra for what they're going to do to the big boss man. And Akeem says there's two types of people in this world who don't take the money. Or no, it's two people who it's like dogs chasing cars and police officers who don't take the money. Basically, it's like two things that don't make it long is what it was.
Right, right, right.
So now we go to Mean Gene, who's with the big boss man. This is a very different promo from Boss Man
Yep.
because he says that he no longer has a black pimp like manager like Slick
Yeah.
and a travel reject like Akeem. And then he says, I'm proud to have my stick. I'm proud to wear my badge. And I'm proud to be an American. Wait, what? This has nothing to do with being American.
Right.
Hey, everyone's allowed to be excited. It's WrestleMania.
Yeah, for sure.
So Slick comes down with Akeem, uh, getting ready for this next match. Boss Man comes out. He gets off the cart. He's about to get ready to fight Akeem. And then out of nowhere, Ted DiBiase's still at ringside?
Hold on, are you telling me someone attacked him before the match?
Yeah, they did. So when DiBiase hits Boss Man, his nightstick I think it goes into the crowd. Like if you watch back,
Yeah, I think the
you're kind of away from the mic.
yeah, it actually did go in the crowd there.
No, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No.
Okay, 1 second here.
Hold on a minute.
Okay, start it up again.
Sorry about that, folks. So yeah, nightstick goes into the crowd. DiBiase throws Boss Man back in the ring, and Gorilla's upset about what happened with the outside interference. And Jesse reminds Gorilla about how Elizabeth interfered in the mixed tag match. And Gorilla's like, Elizabeth interfered in the mixed tag match? Jesse's like, oh, yeah, you were stuffing your face with another hot dog while that happened.
You missed it. Oh man, good stuff.
So this is a real quick back and forth match. Boss Man wins with a Boss Man slam. After the
Yep.
match, he beats up Slick. Nothing really much to talk about here. I gave this a D.
Yeah. You know what? Like So sometimes WrestleManias can have too many matches.
Yeah.
There's probably a few here that they could have eliminated, but
Mhm.
it's nice that everyone gets on the show. So yeah, I'm with you on the D grade though.
All right.
There's a few matches that we didn't really need, like I said. So
What do you think Meltzer gave this one?
oh, probably half a star.
Negative half a star.
Ooh, first negative of the show.
Yeah. He'd been doing pretty good this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now we cut to Sean Mooney, who's in the crowd as we're getting ready for the big performance coming up.
Yeah.
So he asks this first kid, are you ready for this show or this performance? No, I don't like them. I think they're bad and they can't do anything. And then Sean's like, do you know what the name of their new song is? I don't care what their new song is. They're bad. They don't do anything good. And his dad is sitting right next to him going like, you tell him.
You tell him, sonny boy.
So then Sean Mooney goes over to this little girl and he asks her, are you looking forward to this performance? And she's like, yeah. And then he asks her, do you know the name of the song? She's close. Honka 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 love. Not not quite, but it was close.
Probably too many hunkas there,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Maybe she was thinking of the trucks. The
Yeah,
honk.
maybe.
And then Sean Mooney probably has an out of body experience because he sees Mary Tyler Moore. Oh, I'd love to know what Sean was thinking when this happened. So, she interviews her and she says that she's enjoying it. It's the best mix of athletics and theater, which
What
she's not
which is
wrong.
a pretty good, yeah, that's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah, good description.
Yeah.
So then,
Descriptive. That's probably the word I was looking for there.
so then Sean asks or tells Mary Tyler Moore that WrestleMania 7 is going to be in Los Angeles next year. Are you going to be there? Oh yeah, I'm going to be there next year. And then he asks her, if she's getting ready for the new, the performance. She's like, "Oh yeah." And then he asks her, so Honky Tonk Man, what do you think he looks like? You think he looks like Elvis? Yeah, sure.
And she didn't know who Honky Tonk Man was.
Yeah. And then he's like,
She never heard of him before.
and then he's like, what about Greg Valentine? Who do you think he looks like? I think he looks like Elvis too.
Yeah, she had no idea who these guys were.
And then
Right.
Sean's like, oh, I think he's a mix of Johnny Cash and Roy Orbison. She may be Mary Tyler Moore, but to me, she'll always be Mary Richards. Let's go to ringside. Way to go, Sean. Way to go.
God, man, he was, I don't know, man.
So now we get the announcement. Here they come to perform their new hit song, Honka Honka Honky Love, Rhythm and Blues.
Yep.
So they're being driven down in a pink Cadillac
By some random guy.
from
No one ever
Jersey.
heard of.
Yeah.
Some guy, Diamond Dallas something.
Page? Is that his last name?
Which we did talk about this in our Diamond Dallas Page episode.
Mhm.
Check out in the archives. Yeah, and the story goes, he drove this from New Jersey
Yeah.
to
He
Toronto.
he basically the
He
legend
had the
is,
car.
yeah, he had the car.
He
And
drove
he's
it down from New
he's
Jersey.
like, I will lend you the car, but you gotta let me drive it.
Yeah, I'm driving it to and like him dancing in that driver's seat.
He
That's
knew how big
that's
of a
good
deal
stuff.
this was.
That's good stuff there, right there.
Yeah, DDP was no dummy. So
Yeah.
so Gorilla mentions the two ladies in the back seat, and he's like, "Are those the honkheads?" And Jesse, like, it's a legit laugh. It's not
Yeah.
even. He's like,
Yeah,
"Those
that's
are
not
the
a fake
honkheads." And then Jesse's like, "Look at that gold album. The song hasn't even gone out." And Gorilla's like, "What gold album? What gold album? What?"
He's holding it. Hey,
He's
there.
holding it.
Those arguments were so good
Oh my
with
god,
those guys.
they're great.
Like Jesus.
It's like if
So
Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets had two
yeah.
different opinions. That's
Oh man,
basically what it is.
that's such a good comparison.
So they get in the ring and, pardon me, they perform the song live. It is live. Honka Honka Honky Love.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. I'm gonna break this down.
Okay.
Honky sings like maybe a half second ahead of what the pace of the song is. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if you caught that or not.
I did.
He may have missed a lyric or two, but I'm not, gonna penalize him. Uh there's the effect from the microphones. Um everyone's trying. I'll say that. Everybody is trying their best.
Plus, it's in a stadium. It's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, it is. So they finish the song to a chorus of boos.
Well, they
And
are a heel tag
they
team.
are
Even if it was a good song, they would have booed them.
right. So Honky Tonk starts talking about doing or performing an encore, when all of a sudden he sees a couple of vendors out at ringside, and he's like, "We ain't selling nothing but Honky Tonk Man merchandise." And he notices they're not any regular vendors. It's the bushwhackers, or as he calls them, the bushwhackers. He has to put "duh" in there. Duh
Yeah,
bushwhackers. So they get in the ring, they break the guitars, people are happy, they're celebrating in the streets. Hey, DK,
Yeah,
did you know that WrestleMania 7 is coming to Los Angeles, California?
you don't say.
And it's going to take place March 24, 1991? And it's going to be at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where over 100,000 people are going to be?
Yeah, they do repeat a few things here on this show.
Yeah, they do. I mean, this, like, if they did it today, I think people would be annoyed by it. But back in 90, it didn't really matter.
Well, you can't do anything today without being annoyed
Right.
by something, right?
Yeah. So, before we get to our next match, the Fink announces that a brand new attendance record has been set for the Sky Dome. Remember, the venue's only been open less than a year,
Yeah, so knowing that now, it's not as impressive.
but the attendance is a pretty good size.
Yeah,
67,678.
yeah.
So not that's really good. And then I believe, and actually I'm going to look this up real quick before we get to the next match. Um WrestleMania 18 holds the record attendance for any event in that building.
Really?
Yeah,
So that was more than 60 than WrestleMania 6. Okay, cool.
by less than 1,000 people. If
Okay.
I'm doing my math right. All right, so after we get that, Rick Rude's music plays. He's led down to the ring for his match with Jimmy Snuka, and joining the commentary booth, Steve Allen.
The star of the show.
Yep, he truly is the star of the show. I'm just gonna say it now. He is my MVP of WrestleMania 6, and we haven't even gotten into the
That's-
main event.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Steve
Oh,
Allen.
yeah, spoiler alert. So, he talks about how he's never heard more cat calls and cheering and booing in his life. He's having, the time of his life.
Yeah.
And Jesse's like, wait until you see the Warrior and Hogan. Not wrong.
Mhm. Yeah, it's true.
So we get our favorite way to start a match this WrestleMania, sneak attack.
Sneak attack.
We can't end WrestleMania without one more sneak attack.
Right.
So during the match, Steve Allen says that the underwear that Jimmy Snuka is wearing is the same underwear his wife wears. All
Yeah, I
right.
did notice him say that. Like,
I
okay.
didn't need to know that, Steve, but thank you very much. It's a quick little match. Snuka tries for a headbutt off the second rope, misses. Rude hits the Rude Awakening. 1, 2, 3. Rude wins.
Yeah, I was with this one. I liked Rude in this match.
Yeah.
I think Snuka had a couple botches. Wasn't his best performance, but it was okay for what it was supposed to be.
Far from his worst.
Yeah.
And something I forgot to mention, Rude does not do his usual shtick. I guess because they were running short on time, he couldn't do it. So,
Well, maybe there's no sweat hogs in Toronto. I don't know.
I don't know what he would have called them. Fat, out of shape, Toronto Toads? I don't know.
Maybe.
Canadian cheeseheads? I don't know. You know what? A very non-offensive match. I gave this a C minus.
I actually have the same grade.
Okay. What do you think Meltzer gave this one?
1 star.
1 3/4.
Oh boy.
Yes, folks, he thought this was a better match than the mixed tag.
With Dusty Rhodes and Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
Not saying Rick Rude and Superfly aren't great talents, because they are.
Right, exactly. But
Macho Man's one of the goats, so come on, give me a freaking break.
all right. So
Anyways.
now we get the video package for our main event. Starts at the Royal Rumble. Hogan and Warrior are the only guys in the ring. They do the crisscross, then the double clothesline.
Yeah.
1 week later, on Saturday night's main event, after they win a tag match, they get attacked from behind by Mr. Perfect and the Genius. Hogan tries to come in and help Warrior. Warrior accidentally hits Hogan. Then we go to the main event, where the Earthquake is about to squash the Warrior and end any hopes of the main event of WrestleMania happening, when Hulk Hogan runs in to make the save and knocks Earthquake out of the ring. Then, a couple weeks later on Superstars, the Earthquake in all brown. Let me say that again. He's wearing brown.
Okay.
Attacks Hogan. Warrior comes to make the save. Hogan gets his bearings together. It looks like the Warrior's going to clothesline Hogan, but he stops, and we have a stare down, and Warrior runs out of the ring. And that is basically what has led us to this match.
The Ultimate Challenge.
Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan, title for title. Warrior
Was
runs.
it though? Was it though?
Warrior runs down to the ring.
Yep.
Amazing how far the distance is that he can run all the way to the ring.
And I'm glad you said that, because I remember watching this with my friends when I was a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
and wondering because everybody else was coming down on those little things
Cards, yeah.
on the carts. And I'm like, it'd be weird if the Warrior had his music going and he's just standing there on this cart. But that's what made it good was the main event that you guys came down doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm. And then Hogan walks down to the ring. So there's no cart for this.
No,
That's how
'cause they're-
big this match is.
yeah, because they're special.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest on this show. And I don't mean that in a negative way or anything.
Exactly.
But the reason why there's 67,000 people in Toronto at Skydome was to see this.
This match.
Yeah.
So the crowd is split. They really are. Like you could flip a coin and be like, this is where the crowd is. It's split. It's even.
Yep.
So the match begins. They do a test of strength. Warrior pushes Hogan. So they try again. Hogan pushes Warrior. And then we get to a Greco-Roman knuckle lock. At first, Warrior's got the advantage. He gets Hogan down to his knees. Hogan gets back up. He gets the Warrior down to his knees, which inevitably creates a meme many, many years later.
Yes.
Just wanted to mention that. And then, for a little while, Hogan is on the offense in this match. He's the one that's leading this dance, to say, to sort of say. And at one point, he gets like a chin lock on, and Jesse makes a comment of like, huh, if you want to know how that feels, ask Richard Belzer. It's a infamous moment. We don't have a lot of time to get into it. Maybe I'll talk about it on the next show.
Yeah.
So the back and forth is just amazing. This crowd never loses interest in this match. One time. They are in it, beginning to end.
Yep.
They do a double clothesline. They knock each other out. Then we get to a point where Hogan is thrown out to the floor and he hurts his knee. And the commentators are like, oh, no, this match cannot end on a bad knee. It just can't. Eventually, Hogan's knee gets better because, he's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Warrior then gets the advantage. And he gets Hogan in a bear hug. He's got him at 2, but Hogan's the third time he gets it up, he's coming back. And then the referee gets knocked down. So we got no referee. Hogan gets a schoolboy pin on the Warrior. 1, 2, 3.
Which you never saw.
Right.
You never see Hogan do that.
But there's no referee. And Jesse makes a great point about how this happens so many times to Hogan opponents. This time it happens to Hogan.
And I think that was a little foreshadowing too.
Yeah. So then, after, Hogan lets go, Warrior gets up. He has a pin. He counts 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, each guy, they've got their own pin. It's kind of 2 out of 3 falls here.
Yeah.
And then the referee slowly makes his move. He gets into position. 1, 2. Hogan kicks out at 2. Oh, this crowd is on the edge of their seat. And then Hogan gets a pin of his own on Warrior. Here goes again. 1, 2. Warrior kicks out. They're getting so close, DK. They're so close. So this eventually goes back to the outside. They take it to the outside. Hogan hits the post. They get back in the ring. Then we get to the ending. Warrior picks Hogan up in the gorilla press slam position. The drop is kind of botchy, but I'm not going to be too picky about it. Warrior hits.
Still pretty impressive for him to get him up like that.
It is. It really is.
You never see Hogan like that,
No.
put in that situation
Mm-mm.
in the 6 years leading up.
Yeah.
Before even WrestleMania.
Warrior hits the splash. He's got the cover. 1, 2. Hogan kicks out. And Hogan is starting to hulk up.
Yep.
He got the traditional 3 punches to the head. The whole, the waving of the finger. He blocks Warrior's punch, gives him a right hand, gives him another right hand, sends him to the ropes. He hits the big boot. He's running. He's going for the leg drop. And he missed. He missed. Warrior got out of the way. Warrior with the splash. The cover. 1, 2, 3. Warrior wins the title.
Yeah. And I really liked how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's really well done. Hogan kicks out of Warrior's finisher.
At like 3.5.
Which I've no, I'm talking about like when he did the gorilla press.
Oh yeah, that one. That was really well done.
I've listened to other podcasts with Hogan himself on the show, and he said that was a must. He had to kick out of the finisher.
Mm-hmm.
Because, at the time, you assume that they're going to do a return match probably at the next year WrestleMania.
Right.
But he kicks out. He does all the stuff that you expect. It's all predictable. Hogan's hulking up. Hogan's going to win this match. He does the big boot. He goes for the leg drop and misses. And Hogan sells it like a freaking champ.
Yeah.
Warrior jumps on him. 1, 2, 3.25 kick out.
Yep.
He wins the match, but Hogan was just like, okay, you got me, but just barely.
Yep.
It's not like he was lying in the middle of the ring, like the music's going, he's still down, nothing like that. I thought like the way they pulled that off was so good.
Amazing.
I've heard rumors over the years from Hogan. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard him say this. When he brought that title in and handed it to Warrior, there was a plan for him to turn heel there and become Hollywood Hogan at WrestleMania 6.
See, I'd never heard that, but I had that thought many years ago. Like
I can't remember which show it was, but it was Hogan himself that said the whole Hollywood Hogan thing that went down in '96 in WCW. He wanted to be a heel because he thought the red and yellow had kind of run its course.
Right.
Warrior was going to be the babyface champion, and Hogan was going to be this heel.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vince wouldn't go for it. Vince said, no, they'll never buy you as a heel. So then, because going up to that day, Hogan was still pitching that to be this heel. And then it didn't happen. I don't know if it would have worked in 1990, to be honest. But it would have been, knowing Hogan had that idea for himself 6 years before it actually happened. I always thought that was really interesting, but
I mean,
yeah, Warrior winning this match was pretty shocking, but I think it was a little predictable at the same time. So when I was cheering for the Warrior as a kid, but I was kind of cheering for Hogan at the same time because it was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it's Hulk.
Like, what kid didn't want to watch Hulk Hogan? win again. So how
To
did
me,
you rate this match?
well, before I get to that, to go back to what you were saying, I think both Hogan and Vince were in the right. Hogan knew, okay, I'm getting a little stale. I
Yeah.
need to change my character. So he's in the right there.
Yeah.
Vince is in the right for the fact that he's like, no, they're not gonna buy it unless like you're like the super diehard who saw him as a heel earlier in his career.
Yeah.
They're never gonna buy it. So they're both in the right on this.
Yeah.
This is the first time Hogan is pinned clean in a WWF ring in 6 years. And I think that's what makes the moment as good, or part of it as good,
Yeah.
because just the shock value. Nobody beats Hogan clean. If you're going to beat Hogan, you got to cheat. That's basically what it's been for 6 years. The fact Warrior beats him clean in the ring when Hogan, if I'm to make a comparison at that time, he's kind of like Mike Tyson before he loses to Buster Douglas. Nobody beats Tyson. Not even on your best day, you could beat Tyson. That's kind of what Hogan is. Nobody
Yeah.
can beat Hogan. Not even on your best day, you could beat Hogan. But on that one occasion, he did. Warrior did.
Yep.
So I want to say this because, like I said a couple hours ago in the podcast, this is the show that got me to be a wrestling fan for life 30 plus years later. There are fans.
This is that show.
Yeah, this is the show. There are fans
Okay.
who are still to this day in love with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3. And they are perfectly entitled to it.
See, that's the match that got me to where I'm at.
Right. There are fans who are in love with Austin and Rock from WrestleMania 17. That's,
Yeah.
for a lot of people, that's probably the match that got them into wrestling.
Yeah, the later generation for sure.
Yeah. This is the match for me that positive influence in my life. And I know many, many years later to find out Hogan's kind of a piece of shit, Warrior's kind of a piece of shit. But at the end of the day, it that doesn't take anything away from me from this match. This is the match that made me a fan of wrestling. It's because of this that, at 4.5, 5 years old, I became a Hulkamaniac. I, was a fan of the Warrior. I, loved the good guys. I played with my brothers LJNs and then the Hasbro, and then just this is it. This is the match that will always have a special place in my heart, no matter what the person or the people are like in real life. This will always have a special place in my heart. It'll never be tainted. I gave this match an A.
Yes. That's a great rating for sure. Yeah, like we can't just like go through the wrestling moves and
Oh, no.
execution, like the story, the two good guys facing each other,
Mm-hmm.
the psychology in the ring. Like, I know that usually the heel calls the match. I think Hogan called this
I
one.
think Hogan did.
And I think that's why some of the stuff seemed a little different because he usually wasn't a guy doing that. And the Warrior wasn't a guy that used to do that. So it was a little different. Yeah, with that, everything that went through this match and the ending and how
They both kicked out of each other's finishers, essentially, with the big boot. I know the leg drop wasn't executed, but the big boot was part of that move.
Mhm.
And like essentially passing of the torch.
Or at least we thought it was at the time.
At least we thought it was. I'm not going to give it an A, but it's close. I'm going to give it a B plus.
Okay.
This and now I might be getting my records wrong, but I think Hulk Hogan is undefeated at WrestleMania in the United States and 0-2 in Canada.
Um,
I always found that kind of interesting.
all right. So the
Now,
match.
WrestleMania 8, I'm not sure if he actually got a victory
Oh, he did.
or so. Yeah, of all the WrestleMania matches that I can think of, he seemed to win all of them except for 18 and 6.
So at 4, it's a no contest. It's a draw.
Yeah, so he's still undefeated. He didn't lose.
At 9, he's in the tag match and they lose by DQ.
Right. I guess 9 would be a loss.
So
like I always kind of forget about the tag match because I think everybody tried to.
Yeah.
and then impromptu match with Yokozuna is like
I know
one of the worst things ever. But yeah, you still had Hogan coming down your throat from WrestleMania 8. It kind of seemed like he was going to retire, and then who knew? Like he keep going and going for a long time. So
all right. What rating did Dave Meltzer give the Ultimate Challenge?
well, it kind of depends on if he was looking at this as a whole, not just the match. I'm hoping he would give it around 4 stars, but I'm going to say about 3.25.
3 3/4.
Okay.
So this was his highest rated match, by the way, of the show.
Okay.
A couple of numbers I forgot to mention, and then I want to mention a couple other things real quick about this show and everything. Had a gate of $3.4 million in Canada. This was shown on closed circuit television. They had a gate of $600,000 there.
Okay.
And the number, the pay-per-view number is a good number, believe it or not, but it's lower than WrestleMania 5.
Really?
WrestleMania 5 was a 5.9. This was a 4.5.
Okay.
But still, that's a really good number.
You
Okay.
think part of that is because it's like I'm not going to say it's a one-match show because it isn't, but there was one main attraction. At WrestleMania 5, they had probably 4 or 5 really good matches.
Probably.
So,
okay. So a couple of other things I want to mention, and then we're going to wrap things up. So this first part, and I was going to do a video and I was going to play it, but I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get us in trouble because I did that with the Rumble and I had to take it out of our YouTube video. So joking. So what I'm going to say is true, but I'm kind of joking. So the real reason why Hulk Hogan lost the match is because while in Toronto, he and Gene Okerlund filmed a bit for Bugs Bunny's 50th birthday special that was to air in the summer. The clip is up on YouTube if you want to see it. So if you want to blame anyone for Hulk Hogan losing the title, blame Bugs Bunny and the people at Warner Brothers.
That Bugs Bunny with his creative control.
And wascally wabbit. Okay.
Yeah.
now to the serious thing. So about a month and a half before WrestleMania, Vince McMahon has this big meeting in Japan with Giant Baba, the owner of All Japan Pro Wrestling. And they announce that in April, there's going to be a joint show in the Tokyo Dome with the WWF, All Japan, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. The main event match for that show is going to be Hulk Hogan versus Terry Gordy. And the title, the WWF title, is going to be on the line. So, in Baba's mind and Terry Gordy's mind, we're going to get Hogan defending the belt in Japan in the Tokyo Dome against Terry Gordy.
Mhm.
Well, when the result came that Hogan lost the title, Baba and Gordy were upset. Upset would probably be an understatement. So
Yeah.
they do the show, which is almost 2 weeks after WrestleMania VI.
Okay.
After the show, this is it. Giant Baba never does another working agreement with Vince McMahon ever again. All because of the main event of WrestleMania VI.
Just because he didn't have the title anymore?
Yeah. And
Well, it's not like he was gonna lose the title.
exactly. I think Baba knew that. Like, my guy doesn't have to go over. Just have Hogan be, have the belt.
So, like, would he been more inclined to have like the Warrior as the champion there instead of Hogan?
I think so.
Or was it like you want their main, like Hogan was still the main attraction?
Yeah, he was still the
to
main attraction.
Maybe non WWF fans.
Yeah.
Over the Warrior, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
that's interesting.
so because of that, also Gordy pulls out of the show. And I have
Okay.
the results in front of me, and I'm going to go through them quickly. So this was at the Tokyo Dome. 53,000 plus in attendance. And we probably will never review this show, so don't worry, folks. We'll spoil it here. Dan Crawford.
All the matches are 5-star by Dave Meltzer. It's in Tokyo Dome.
Dan Crawford, Joe Malenko, and Doug Furness defeated Samson Fuyuki, Toshiaki Kawada, and Tatsumi Kitihara in a 6-man. Jushin Thunder Liger defeated Akira Nogami. Jimmy Snuka and Tito Santana in a tag match defeated Masa Fuchi and Kenta Kobashi.
Hey, Tito with the victory.
Yeah, look
I
at
like
that.
He just had to go to Japan.
Had to go to Japan. Tiger Mask 2, that's Mitsuharu Masawa, and Bret Hart went to a 20-minute time limit draw. The Great Kabuki defeated Greg Valentine. Jake Roberts defeated the Big Boss Man. Masa Saito and Shinya Hashimoto defeated Riki Choshu and Masahiro Chono. Jumbo Tsuruta and Haku defeated Mr. Perfect and Rick Martel. Genichiro Tenryu defeated Randy Savage. The Ultimate Warrior, in his first defense of the WWF title, defeats Ted DiBiase. Giant Baba and Andre the Giant defeat Demolition in a non-title match. And the main event, Hulk Hogan defeated Stan Hansen.
Oh, okay.
So Hansen is the substitute, and a pretty good substitute. I've seen that match. It's on the Hulkamania 6 Coliseum video. It's a good match.
Yes, I used to have that set, so I do believe I have seen that match.
May have to dig it out sometime.
Yeah, I might have to check that out.
All right. Our MVP of WrestleMania 6. I think you and I, we both said it. Steve Allen.
And Jesse
And Gorilla.
and Gorilla, they do make like a lot of those matches.
Yeah.
The Dark Horse MVP. I don't know. I really liked Jake's promo.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Mr. Perfect was really good. I thought he carried that match.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
So many good choices.
yeah. And even I thought Hogan really brought a really great match out of the Warrior.
Yeah.
Which he didn't what it's not like the Warrior was a bad wrestler by any means.
Oh,
It's just he was more of the 3 to 5 minute matches than the 24-minute match that we got. So
and to think
I'd even put Hogan up there for MVPs as well.
And to think Warriors' 2 best matches are this WrestleMania and the next WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Think about that.
And I think so Warriors' 2 best matches, like you just said. And I think he's the second best competitor in both matches.
Mm-hmm.
I think the two guys that he fought against really brought the best out in him.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Especially Randy Savage.
Oh my God, yeah. So pretty much, folks, DK and I, it's a thumbs up for this WrestleMania.
Well, if it didn't, I'm assuming if it inspired you to be a wrestling fan, you kind of like this show.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is our first WrestleMania review of this season.
Yep.
How's that? Well, I'm saying this season, but this WrestleMania season.
Seasons.
And our second one and final one will be WrestleMania 29.
Yep.
Which we are jumping 23 years from this show. And
I have a lot of stories about that one.
Yeah, so that one, like if you enjoyed a show of this length, you'll enjoy the next one because Bill was at this show.
I will tell you
about it's one of my it's one of the better shows in the 20s for me. So thanks everyone for listening. And
just real quick, join the Facebook group, DK and Bill Wrestling Podcast.
All you gotta do, just type it in. And we're the only ones.
What are we doing next episode, DK?
We are doing our first live watch along where you, the fans, can join. We're doing a Zoom call. You just have to click the link. We'll let you in. And we're doing a watch along of Clash of Champions, Ric Flair and Sting, as Sting's about to call it a career. So we thought, what better thing could we do to kind of, relive his career a little bit. So this is going to be like, I like how you put it. This is the match that kind of put him on the map.
Yep. And we're only watching that match. We're not going to do the whole show.
No, and it's not a review. We're doing a watch along. So we're going to have the link on there. Join. We can all kind of talk about it at the same time. I believe we have double digit people that have confirmed. So if anybody else wants in, come join.
Yep.
And it should be fun.
We're going to talk about
8:30 Eastern time, I believe it is 8:30 Eastern.
And we're going to talk about our favorite Sting matches, Sting moments, what Sting means to a lot of people. So can't wait for that.
The icon.
Yep. Well, thank you very much, folks, for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed our review of WrestleMania 6 because I know I did, and I'm sure DK did. And we will talk to you all if you're going to join us live this Friday night. And if you don't join us, well, you could still get the podcast downloaded on Saturday. So we'll talk to you all then.
Thank you.